Rockbiter on the Defender of Argus, and that's what he's going to go ahead and do. Pretty good use of that card, though, particularly as he does have the 2 in hand, so it's not as if he's using something up that he doesn't have.
Yep. And it's very nice here because he's got a board presence that is threatening, yet doesn't really give the Paladin any value if he clears it.
There's no big game hunter in the hand for RDU, so if this Dr. Boom comes down, is that just a straight Wild Pyromancer equality?
I think it might be at that point. Or I guess you could consider Aldo Peacekeeping, but then what if he Earth Shocks his own Boom and goes for your face? You know, things like this are known to happen.
Definitely. A good mid-range minion does come into the hand for Dark Sub and the Pilot Shredder, so he throws that straight and completes his set of totems.
Wow, interestingly enough, Dr. Boom is going to be kept for the time where Lethal might be insured through it. That's what it's starting to feel like to me.
It does. I mean, I think if you're playing Dr. Boom in a deck like this where there aren't many big game hunter targets, you've got to be aware of the number of big game hunters in the meta right now.
Yeah, definitely. And now there's nothing you want to use True Champion on either. Oh, that Neptulon. That is going to be an insane draw.
Speaking of 7/7s.
This is a crazy card because not only does it force a response, but even if he does respond, you then get to force him to use another board player. Oh, wow.
A couple of interesting Murlocs there, actually.
A pretty nice combination of them. The Siltfin is one of the better ones because it allows you to cycle your Murlocs, and the Collateral will give him the card draw that Shaman is well known for lacking.
And here comes the Wild Pyromancer equality.
Wait, could he mill his opponent? No. Oh, Lightwell. Oh, no. What is this?
Lightwell is such a pain to deal with.
Yeah, it's so annoying, but at the same time, it's a pretty low impact card, but you can't help but hate the thing, because you have to actually go out of your way to kill it.
Yeah, you have to deal with it, but it's no threat whatsoever.
But it feels like such a waste of 5 damage.
It's actually a great position for Dark Sub if he wants to play the Dr. Boom this turn, because he is overloaded for 3, but he has exactly the amount of mana he needs if he decides to play that Dr. Boom. But he does get a Sludge Belcher into hand as well. What do you see as the play here?
I feel like Dr. Boom might have a good turn to be played here. Playing Murlocs doesn't feel optimal unless you go for the Tidecaller into Collateral into Cold Light Seer. But he's setting up the all the Murlocs in one turn. Next turn, turn 10, he's got enough to play Collateral, Siltfin, and the Seer. That is a lot of Murlocs in one turn.
It's a lot of cards as well.
Yeah. Will we see Kel'Thuzad come out here? Or will we see the Muster, Quartermaster, Sen'jin? What is this going to be?
Sen'jin and the Sky Golem coming out for RDU. So he's actually starting to build up a threatening board here.
Yeah, but those Murlocs are going to be frustrating.
Definitely.
Actually, Kel'Thuzad is going to be an amazing value card here.
Yeah, definitely. That's gonna get crazy. I'm just trying to think if the only way you can get through this Sen'jin with the Tidecaller, it's actually going to be 1 damage short, I believe, of being able to kill the Sen'jin.
Interestingly, he played only the Seer.
Yeah, he's not playing the Siltfin. I guess he's probably a little bit aware of getting too much card draw from the Siltfin and the Cold Light Oracle. He does go ahead and use that second Rockbiter weapon, which is always a very important of the Shaman.
Yeah, you end up bursting people down with it more often than not. Alright, he hexes the Power of the Sky Golem, which is a great play. He must be expecting the Kel'Thuzads to fall down at this point because it's, as you said, it has seen a resurgence, and as a result you have to expect it. And when you see Power of the Sky Golem being dropped this late in the, you don't want to give your opponent the ability to get more value out of it than he would get normally. And here comes the Kel'Thuzad.
There is the Kel'Thuzad, as you said, and it's only going to revive the Shielded Minibot.
So do you Cold Light Oracle and hope that you draw your second hex here?
Well, you do get a Lightning Storm.
What value are you getting? I mean, it hits for 3 to 4 at the moment.
It's not a great play.
Yeah, everything comes back to life. There's very little point to it.
I guess you gotta hope for the Cold Light Oracle to bring you something.
Yeah, Earth Shock or
he's not going for the Siltfin. He does get the Hex.
All right, well that's going to help, and the Earth Shock. Wow, that is a big deal.
And with the Spell Power token, you can actually use the Earth Shock to kill the Shielded Minibot if you want to.
Lightning Storm does everything. Everything works right now. He can do everything he wants.
Yeah, you could take the shield off with the Murloc and use the Lightning Storm.
I mean, Earth Shock will kill the Minibot, and then he can kill a single frog. I don't think there's any reason to Storm just yet.
Sure.
Sylphin Spirit Walker. I never thought I'd see that being played competitively, but hey, welcome to GVG, ladies and gentlemen, where things that make sense don't make sense.
Absolutely. And once again, building up his board of totems, the taunt totem going to be very frustrating for what is a very weak board. In fact, that Lightwell is like a super healing totem.
Yeah, at the moment, this thing is better. Like, a Vitality Totem has absolutely nothing on this dude. It's incredible. And RDU being very reactive again. Nothing proactive happening here. He's forced into a position of just waiting it out. And that's not something... Like, against Shaman, he hasn't seen his consecrations yet. So he knows that they're going to be coming eventually.
It's interesting. And that's really frustrating, obviously, because that gets healed straight away.
Yeah, but Lightning Storm is feeling pretty good right now. I feel like this is not the worst Lightning Storm board you're going to find, unless you want to wait for the Muster for Battle Quartermaster, which is the only other time where that might be relevant. And the Sylphin now could give you 2 card draws if you have to use your Murlocs on that Sludge.
Sure.
Yep.
You were able to guarantee that you could kill the Sludge Boucher with one Murloc thanks to the Spell Power Totem. Sylphin. It's going to be the MVP in this matchup, I feel.
I can't believe we're saying this, but it might just be.
The combination of Murlocs and Lightwell is putting Dark Sub in a really great position here.
It's awkward, but yes. I mean, it feels like Murloc Priest should be a thing after this, but they don't have access to the Sylphin. And that 2/5 Murloc is just so annoying. It's got just enough health to be frustrating to deal with. Oh, down comes the Muster for Battle, Quartermaster turn, where finally RDU is going to capitalize on the fact that he has seen a single Lightning Storm being played, and is going to hope that his opponent doesn't have a second one in hand in the immediate sense. And that might just be the right way to do it. Because quite frankly, a lot of Shamans decided to run only one Storm nowadays.
Absolutely. He does have the Haunted Creepers and the Harvest Golems to refill his board, but... do you think this is probably a Sludge Belcher turn, or what are you looking at here?
I don't know. I feel like all plays are equally weird. It's because you haven't seen much removal coming from the Paladin. I mean, he had to use 1 Equality and Wild Pyromancer to use on your Neptulon turn earlier, but you haven't seen any Consecration, so overextending might feel like a very weak play, and I wouldn't blame him for trying to avoid that.
It looks like he's just going to go for the Sludge Belcher here.
I feel like Sludge Belcher Totem might also just be better than overextending with the Haunted Creeper into a potential... Wow. He's actually not attacking any 3/3s. He's waiting on that Lightning Storm number 2 if he has it.
And if the second Quartermaster were to come out now, that would be horrible.
Follow the rule.
Yeah, roll the 5/5s.
Thankfully for Dark Sub, RDU doesn't have that in hand.
Yeah.
Because it uses the Aldor on the Sludge Belcher there.
This is a play I do like. I personally like it. It's one of those things where a lot of people avoid playing Aldor Peacekeepers as tempo plays, but sometimes it is the right way to do it. And yeah, this is very good. So the RDU knows that his opponent does not have a Lightning Storm, since he obviously did not play it on the previous turn.
Sure.
So he either has to top deck it, or simply is going to get overrun.
Or there isn't one in the deck.
Yeah, that's it. Like, he either has the second one and he doesn't, like, he hasn't drawn it yet, or he has to top deck. Like, worst case scenario, it comes down to a top deck.
Even though RDU is down at nearly half health, it feels like this game is shifting the momentum towards RDU. And Dark Sub, that Lightwell not looking so useful right now. He's going to go ahead and Dr. Boom.
Yeah, but there's a big game hunter now in RDU's hand, and that is, unfortunately, not what you want to see.
Well, he's gonna have to kill something off before you can use that big game hunter. Of course.
Yeah, there's a Harvest Golem that demands some killing over there.
So he's gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah. So the Harvest Golem is gonna bite the dust, and the big game hunter is gonna come down. It's so funny. Shaman is one of those matchups where you do, and Paladin now, where you get these full boards, and it's something you never really have to consider in many matchups. Is because I've got too much stuff on board.
Yeah.
And we saw the Freeze Mage matchup, a full board Frozen. You won. Aldor Peacekeeper, as you mentioned, playing that as a tempo play is something that's a lot more common in the Paladin decks now. Back when paladins were running things like humility, stampeding Kodo, you would save it for a big threat as removal.
I'm actually a little confused because is he running? What is Dark Sub running specifically? Like he's running 2 Power Maces or just the one?
Why
And
don't
what about Crackles?
we haven't seen any of those come out yet, so I'm not sure what he has. What does he even have at this point? You know, a lot of lightning bolts are being cut. Things like what damage does he have?
Yeah, a lot of shamans are cutting things that we otherwise would have called
That's
essential.
a horrible
card
bomb as well.
Yeah, not the best, not the worst, but now the Fire Elemental could come out and, well, it's not even gonna even things out. There's still a ton of damage on the board here for RDU.
Now, again, if you're Dark Sub, what's the thought process behind not killing the Silverhand recruit there? Because you got to be thinking maybe he has a second quartermaster.
You mean killing the big game hunter instead of the
Aldor instead of the recruit with the Fire Elemental? Oh god, there's a Twilight Drake coming down off the Sky Golem.
MVP at 1 health. Okay, this Lotheb is going to prevent any kind of comeback, I believe here. We've already seen 2 Sludge Belchers being played, and that's a lot of damage on the board for the Paladin, which could just threaten lethal in the following turn. And the anti-heal bot securing the health lead, that's going to be very hard to go through. I think it's impossible at this point. Definitive Argus might buy some time, but
was just gonna say, is there a greater tempo play at this situation than Antique Healbot and Lotheb?
No, there's absolutely nothing. You're preventing any kind of spell usage, and you're back in the game health-wise. You're not threatened by Crackle Burst at the moment. In before Ancestral Skull.
Lorewalker Cho!
Oh, hello, baby.
The Shredder.
What is that going to do right now? Absolutely nothing. But hey, it's a panda, and everybody loves dying next to a panda.
Panda OP.
So is that lethal? There is 13 on the board plus Consecration. That is lethal coming from RDU onto the Shaman's face. So yes,
exact lethal thanks to the Consecrate, as you said. Yeah, it does appear that RDU sees it. So it's going to be 2-0 to RDU in this series.
Hey, look, Shaman gets a Consecration. That would have been drastically useful a few turns ago.
I mean, in the absence of a second Lightning Storm, indeed, that would have been. But that's going to be all for Dark Sub in this opening matchup. So RDU comes out on top with the Paladin deck looking very, very strong against the choices that Dark Sub made. RDU looking very strong, as I said, got to be one of the favorites in this early stage. He's one of the bigger names in the round of 40. Looking very, very good here.
Yeah, he's one of the best players out there, and I mean, you might not like him. Some people don't like the guy, but like him or hate him, he's still an amazing player, and he's shown that countless times, getting number 1 in some smaller events and in bigger events as well, getting really nice performances and 4th place at WCA, if I recall, which was very close to the cutoff due to some poor luck on his part. I remember. So things sometimes go wrong, but he's really a solid player, and his Paladin deck was well constructed. And quite frankly, Zoo is not as good a matchup anymore against Paladin as it used to be, where they needed Consecration or the game was completely over. Now between Anti-Healbot and Sludge Belcher since Naxxramas, a lot of things have changed, and Muster for Battle is making that even tougher for the Zoo player to just recover from. And Shaman is in the same boat.
For sure. A couple more scores to bring you. Pause My Wham was victorious 2-0 over Kaye. Maybe we'll go with that. Fenteris winning 2-1 over Riducat, and Kit Kats winning 2-0 over Gom3R. Impact defeated Ari 2-0, which was the other game we were going to try and bring you at this point. In fact, the 2 players, the 3 games that are still being played, 2 of them involve the 2 people that we're waiting to cast next. D2
and Modern Leper. All right, well, that's going to force us to be waiting a little bit before we enter the next game.
Indeed. So let's talk about these games a little bit and talk about RDU versus Dark Sub and the choices that Dark Sub made. He certainly brought some rather unconventional decks. In fact, they're seeing that there wasn't a second Lightning Storm coming out, and that Shaman deck suggests there wasn't that. It didn't have Crackles and Lightning Bolts. Suggests maybe a lot of the damage had been cut, a lot of the burst from that Shaman. How did you feel about that Shaman build as a tournament deck?
Personally, I feel like it's a little bit more maybe flavored toward, I mean, tailored towards ladder, where it's really effective there because getting tempo swings off of minions can be a bit more relevant. But for the surprise factor of tournament play is obviously not the best. Like people expect this kind of play from Shaman a lot, and in a metagame where I feel there's a lot of Paladin, for instance, it's a little awkward because they do have the answers nowadays to just clear your board multiple times and establish their own counter pressure, which is not something they've been able to do a lot like a long time ago. And since GVG, you've got to be a bit careful. And he banned the mage from RDU. He knew that Freeze Mage was even worse than Paladin. Like there were, it's two things here. It's like pick the worst. Pick your are going to be excruciating to go up against. So the lineup of RDU just amazing. It's each of his decks covers another deck's. Like if they ban one, the other rest of the meta game, and that's why I thought that lineup was probably one of the best.
For sure. And we're seeing all these games coming in thick and fast, and we're to take a short break before we bring you our next game. But yeah, RDU in the Paladin deck, very, very successful. Didn't even get to see his Druid lineup yet, and that's always good. At that, we do have to think about these streamed matches in a round. Can be something of a disadvantage. Having your decks displayed on stream does mean he gets to conceal that Druid deck from future opponents. And obviously, if he decides to carry that forward to the next stage, important to note these players can change their decks at the end of today for Wednesday's games. So we could
between
see
rounds.
Yeah, so we could see completely different decks when we get to the round of 24 on Wednesday, which is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, some people will probably opt to do that depending on how they felt their matches went.
And then they can change again for the third stage. So we'll see an evolving microcosm of the meta in this tournament as people
in the
change
Swiss
their
format.
decks.
Yeah, that's awesome actually.
It's one of the advantages. Trying to see if we have any more results to bring you. Modern Leopard lost his first game to Dale. So he went down 2-1 there. So this match against D2 is going to be absolutely crucial for Modern Leper. He's going to have to take out the big name if he wants to stay alive in the group. But we're going to go to a very quick break. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes as soon as D2 has finished his game. And in fact, D2 is 1-0 down against a Croyo as well. Yeah, an eliminator matchup coming up in our very next match.
Wow, that's crazy. All right.
But we'll be back with you in just about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the HearthStats D2.
concrete. We've got the world at our feet. Don't let go, we're strong. Nothing will ever make us strong. 'Cause I know that we are forever and ever. When it's you and I, we will make it at night. When it's you and I, we will make it at night. You and I.
Welcome back to day 2 of the HearthStats Challenger League Season 1. And we are ready for our second game. We just saw RDU winning 2-0 over Dark Sub. And we're here for D2 versus Modern Leper. And just before we went to the break, we brought you news that Modern Leper had lost his first game and that D2 was 1-0 down in his. And in fact, D2 went on to lose that game. So both these players coming off a loss in their first match. And the loser of this match, they're going to be out of the tournament, Knox.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things with that's where you have a chance to come back, but sometimes you end up being pitted. You always pitted against somebody who has a score similar to yours. So when you both lose your first match, that second crucial. Whichever wins that one is going to be to have a much climbing back in the ranking. I mean, it's possible sometimes over very very long Swiss tournaments that you can just keep fighting more and more people. When when you have like 4 games to play, it's a little tougher.
Sure, and you can see here from D2 Modern Leper the classes. D2 brought Warlock, Warrior, and Paladin, and the Warrior has been banned. Modern Leper brought Hunter, Druid, and Mage, and it's the banned. So we're going to see Hunter and Mage versus Warrior versus Warlock and Paladin here. How do you rate those lineups? Now, we do know that the deck list here, we're going to see them very, very short order. How do you rate these two lineups together?
Personally, I'm actually like the bans I kind of expected because of what I assumed the classes would be. And after seeing the list of the players, it made too much sense for the bans not to go that specific way. Warlock and the Paladin still remaining. I mean, Modern Leper thinks he's going to be having a much easier time against a bit awkward because banning Warrior, it needs to imply that he's going to be playing something side. And also, if his Mage were to be Freeze Mage, then against Warrior, of course, it's going to be a bit tough. But the Warlock Paladin against Mage Hunter, it really depends on how the Hunters draw. It's really about, like, because sometimes those specific early turns matter a lot for Warlock and Hunter, a little bit more so than other classes. Because Paladin and Mage tend to make the games drag on and on, whereas Warlock and Hunter games can be very, very quick.
Indeed. I mean, that new Paladin meta that we're seeing post Goblins versus Gnomes, how does that
Sorry, what? I lost you here.
How does the Paladin shape up against the Hunter? And in fact, just as I say that, that's the matchup we're going to see. So D2 on the bottom here on the Paladin is going to go ahead and keep one of those, obviously anticipating some early Hunter aggro. And you can see not a lot of early threats in the hand there for Modern Leper. You can assume mulliganed away.
Yeah, you must D2 here. This is going to be a mid-range Hunter. And Consecration is always good anyway because you still have to deal with those pesky Death Rattle dudes, which are going to stick on the board and cause a lot of trouble for you.
Well, there you go. That's a better hand. Undertaker, Leper Gnome, Coin. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, and the margin seems to indicate that this is a much, much more aggressive hand, aggressive deck that is, than you would initially expect from the current metagame, which is very mid-range oriented.
Double Beast of Sergeant and a Haunted Creeper to follow up on turn 2 as well.
And this is a bit problematic here for D2 because getting Undertaker, Leper Gnome, Undertaker, Web Spinner, or Clockwork Gnome is obviously the god draw, but it's concede worthy drop with Death Rattle. Until the turn 2 comes up and you see the turn 2 Death Rattle, you can sometimes hope for a really good chance at coming back. But this is really tough. At least there's a True Silver Champion to deal with, awful follow-ups.
Oh, and there's a Web Spinner as well. So much damage already in the hand for Modern Leper.
Yeah, Haunted Creeper protects from Consecration, and then the follow-up turn 3 can just be dump double abusive into Web Spinner. Like, the aggression is incredible here in Modern Leper's hand.
This is absolutely insane, and the Paladin just doesn't have what it would need to deal with any of these threats.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Starting hands like these for somebody who's playing a Golden Hunter is very standard. Because if you're a Golden Hunter, you know when to find your Undertakers. And somehow the game seems to decide you're going to get them very much more often. It's just pure science right there.
I think we might have a slight issue with the spectator mode here because we haven't seen any... No, we are going to get the play there. Haunted Creeper coming down. I was just surprised at that decision, to be honest. But he is going to clear that away and just start to pile on the damage. Sludge Belcher coming down, that could be useful in slowing this aggression in a couple of turns. But D2's got to be thinking if he's going to last that long.
Yeah, because right now he used Undertaker to kill the 1/1 as opposed to sacrificing the Leper Gnome. The obvious drawback of that is now the Undertaker is vulnerable to a True Silver champion. The thing is, it's still going to retaliate for 4 damage. So it's not that big of a problem if it ends up dying to a True Silver because you'll have the Web Spinner and your Abusive Sergeants out on the board at that point, and the only thing that they can do is try to consecrate. But if they do that, then they leave the Undertaker up. Basically, it's a no-win situation here for the Paladin. And what I say by no-win is every play he makes is just a problem. Like, it's weak in some way. There is no optimal way to approach this.
And even if we were to see a second Death Rattle come into the hand, maybe another Web Spinner, another Leper Gnome, something like that, the Undertaker could go back out of range of the True Silver again.
And what's really good though about the hand of D2 is that he's got all his array of removal. The removal that he needs is there. Everything is sort of to go. What he needs to do is try to queue it up and avoid too much burst.
There's that first kill command coming into hand. Do you opt for the hero power here? Or are you trying to throw down pressure on board?
Oh, I think I'm almost just... I don't know, I would tend to go all in here, just because Consecration is not a threat due to the big protection from the Haunted Keeper. And if he does True Silver Champion and takes retaliation damage from the Undertaker, then I can still pound away at his face with 2 1s and a 1/1. But it could be a good considerable play, just to, a single abusive play.
Or even a Web Spinner to buff the Undertaker hero power. He's going to trade the Leper Gnome into the Knife Juggler.
Yeah,
thinking very hard in this place.
Yeah, it's sometimes you have to think hard, but I feel like the way that his deck runs, he has to just go all in straight up against Paladin, because there is no play on turn 4 that is going to come back from this for Paladin. I mean, Consecration is not even a problem for you, because you still have sticky board.
8 damage Undertaker. That is disgusting.
Yeah. Now 17 health on turn 4. That's pretty tough.
You've got 2 choices here. Consecrate, or you can use the True Silver Champion to clear the Undertaker. I almost feel like that's the optimal play, because then you're not popping the spiders, you're not popping the Web Spinner.
The problem with playing True Silver Champion is that you're attacking the Undertaker. Board clear on the following turn with Consecration, because you can then pop the spider, but you're opening yourself up to a lot of kill command pressure since you're leaving beasts up. So in the immediate sense, you're going to take a lot more damage.
Sure, and in fact, looking at the damage that we've got here, there's 4, 5, 6, 8 with the hero power, 5, 13 with the kill command in effective damage. It's starting to look really scary if you're D2. It's probably a Knife Juggler hero power if you're thinking that he's going to pop the spiders.
I think you can just kill command hero. You can just kill command straight up and go face and keep the juggler for when you play another minion, because once he goes down to 13, he uses his True Silver to pop the spider and then consecrates, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you play a Knife Juggler here, Consecration is going to be a bigger problem. Is it not? No,
Possibly.
apparently not.
I mean, I guess. Knife Juggler.
Okay, so no kill command. I hope he's not missing out on the opportunity to kill command for 5 here, because that 2 damage is essentially the same as getting 2 damage off of popping the spider.
Yeah, he's gonna have to hope that if the Web Spinner gives him something that's 2 mana or less as a kill command active.
Because any would get, I wouldn't say, I think it would get stopped pretty hard. But then again, he knows his deck better than we do. If there's a lot of charged minions and no taunts get established, that's still winnable. A lot of his stop decks, I'm sure, are going to give him lethal in some way. I mean, weapons work, charged minions work. A lot of things really function for him.
Even things like explosive traps in a hyper aggressive deck can create a horrible situation when you're at this low health.
Yep. All right, the only play that made sense is getting made here by D2. He's going to go down to 6 health because of the Knife Juggler. The Hunter has 5 damage in hand and only 5 mana. So right now, if no charged minions that hit for a huge amount are getting top decked, D2 might live. Oh, and he got the low attack, the low cost beast. That's not a Wolf Rider hero power. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe this.
So D2, unless you can deal 28 damage in 1 turn, this game's going to be over. Modern Leper.
Anti-Killbot could save him. Could it? No, it's too late.
No,
the game is wow. This is not the Hunter you expect. It is the Hunter you deserve, I guess. I don't know how to put it. It's just, I mean, it's just so painful to look at this because you don't see any more of those hyper-aggressive hunters in the metagame. Savannah Highmanes, the Dr. Boom. You don't see much Glaive Zuka charge action up in the metagame anymore.
Glaive Zuka, we saw Wolf Rider
Yeah.
coming in there. That's
Like, it has to be
that's a,
hyper-aggressive. It's just the most hyper-aggressive hunter possible.
we saw double abusive sergeant. We saw, as you say, the Wolf Rider come. This is a hunter deck, and if you're looking at the Warlock of D2, which is a handlock deck,
Yeah, this is not good. This is not a good way. You're not happy about facing this. You are not happy at all. And we have to be honest here. Let's be frank. The draw from the hunter was
disgusting.
yeah, it was incredible. He didn't even need any card draw, no trackings, nothing. Just straight up, oh, let me get the perfect start and the double abusive and put you in a position where every turn 4 play you make is going to be locked down.
There's no
And
freezing trap. There's no
this is
hunter's mark to
painful.
get through. It's just it's all face all the time.
Yeah, some people call this kind of deck face cancer. I just call it metastasis because it tends to spread even further than its initial iteration, and just people copy it, and then it becomes shocky all over again.
Well, this may well be the first time we see us getting into an unscheduled game if this one finishes quickly.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
You can see Noctis has beaten Riducat as well, and he's at 2-0 now in his record. So
Yeah.
he's sitting pretty in his group, but all the other games are still playing, so we should be able to bring you something else if this game... I mean, is there any way that the Handlock can beat such a hyper-aggressive Hunter deck?
If you start with Moltons and somehow manage to turn the game around, but you have to be very reckless with your life taps, oddly enough. It's stupid to say, but if you need Moltons. If you don't have them, the game is beyond over. Antique heal bots can buy you some time, but it tends not to even get to turn 5. If the hunter has a slow hand and he's got, he's stuck with wolf riders and somewhat mediocre minions, then that can help as well. But the hunters, but they will build their deck in such a way that if they're running 2 Undertakers and they're on the coin, right, it's pretty obvious that you mulligan everything and you have a 60%-ish chance of getting an Undertaker. So getting Undertaker is not that uncommon, and at least you're going to get 1 drops on average.
We see the Web Spinner and Leper Gnome in the hand straight away from Modern Leper.
With the Iron Beak Owl as well, amazing against Handlock for the Twilight Drakes.
He's going to be looking for an Undertaker, though, to get that start off again.
Yeah, can you really justify mulligan? I mean, you can mulligan the Eagle Hornbow. I assume that is a manageable thing, but the 2-1 draws with Death Rattle are too appealing to throw. They are weak to Mortal Coil, however.
If you throw back the Iron Beak Owl here as just an all-in play of trying to get an Undertaker, is that absolutely crazy?
I think it is. I really do think it is. I think it's such a risky play. You can't really justify it.
And D2, he said he needed to get those molten shards. There is the Undertaker coming in on turn 1.
And he didn't even need to mulligan more than 1 card. Do you know the odds of this happening are somewhere around the 40%. They're not unlikely, right? But they're not that great. They're like 30%.
It's still crazy.
It's still nuts.
Undertaker Leper Gnome on the coin. 2 games in a row. This is the sort of thing where you think no matter what player is on the other end, this could be the world champion Firebat. This could be Kalento. This could be any team of pro players all playing together, and this deck would be able to trample them.
Because Undertaker coin Leper Gnome leaves your Undertaker vulnerable to Dark Bomb, right?
I wonder.
It does indeed.
So do you just wait 1 turn to go Undertaker coin Leper Gnome Web Spinner? Because like if he Dark Bombs this, you're kind of you'll survive.
Yeah, so he's gone with the Undertaker straight away, and the Owl comes out off the top for D2. That's a great draw.
That might be like no Molten Giants, let's be honest. But right now, at least there's been some kind of... There's a trade. He's forcing a trade with a Face Hunter. Who would have thought?
And the Face Hunter is going to have some sort of identity crisis here.
Yeah.
And hopefully D2 is going to be able to exploit that confusion.
Yeah.
To establish... Here comes the Web Spinner Leper Gnome.
Alright, the Undertaker asserting his dominance over the Owl. You could just go face and ignore it, quite frankly, because he's going to have to trade anyway. Okay, never mind. He doesn't want to lose his Leper Gnome.
A big game Hunter coming out for the Warlock. I guess you can go ahead and slam that down.
Yep, you put that
force
down.
Another
force
trade.
Yeah, force all the trades. That's the name of the game.
But actually,
until you can Hellfire safely.
As we were saying here, this is actually a reasonable strategy for the handlock, because it's almost as good a strategy as anything in this
Just
matchup. Is
throw
you're
everything in the way.
absolutely force a face hunter, and getting that owl. The top decks from D2 have been perfect in these turns 2 and 3.
Yeah, and the Undertaker didn't get the value that that was wanted by the Hunter here, obviously. So
And he's gonna go ahead and use the Abusive Sergeant to get even more damage in.
yeah, I mean Lepronome, you don't want it to get silenced accidentally, like as a result of some kind of Iron Beak Owl, a rogue Iron Beak Owl just going in and hooting you. Do you just play Definitive Argus as a bot? Because I mean Hellfire here doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, this is a horrible Hellfire play.
Yeah, do you just like Definitive Argus force a trade into something and then Loatheb on the following turn?
He's gonna Hellfire.
Wow, he better find that Mortal Coil.
That feels very desperate indeed. He gets another Undertaker in hand. So actually, this turn for Modern Leper is feeling pretty clunky. Do you look at maybe coining the Tundra Rhino here because you don't have another play? And if you can keep that charge of the Tundra Rhino, that could really mess your opponent up.
With the Owl? I mean, he knows there's no Savannah High Mains here. Like, D2 is not going to get worried about Savannah High Mains. But the thing, there's a Loatheb right now in D2's hand. So that is going to, if not do anything for kill commands, contest the board for a little while.
He's going to throw it in the Undertaker and the... Not keeping the Wolf Rider as a finisher like it was in the last game.
Mm-hmm. No, there's no reason to at the moment.
He's just choosing to pile in the damage. And there's the anti-heal bot.
That's got to feel good. So do you just play Loatheb right now and then drop the heal bot? I feel like that is a much stronger play.
Yeah, definitely. You got to think that's a strong play. But I just say D2's keeping himself in this as much as is possible. I mean, he was already dead by this turn in the last game, so this is an improvement.
This is an improvement. Well, Paladins do have Muster for Battle, but if they don't find it, though, like Consecrations against Undertaker starts are still really problematic. You need to find Outdoor Peacekeeper to negate some of the damage or Muster for Battle. And in the case of Handlock, that Ironbeak Owl was crucial. And then just a little 3-2 to stop. And that mana is going to be important. That is a really important mana.
Absolutely.
That Shadow Flame on Defender on turn 8, possibly. Wow. I can't believe what I'm looking at.
All face for Modern Leper, and there's the Mountain Giant. But that's not going to be useful.
You have to anti-heal bot, even though it sucks. I mean, Shadow Flaming is not an option, because he can just kill you from 7 very easily. You know how it is.
I mean, so in terms of alternative plays...
He's Shadow Flaming?
He's Shadow Flaming the Loatheb. Wow.
I thought he was just going to trade, and... Well, is he dead? He's not quite dead, but he's... almost dead.
He's actually...
Almost
he is. Dead. He is dead because the Eagle Horn Bow Hero Power coined Explosive Trap.
Yeah, but the Explosive cannot trigger until such a time comes as...
But I mean, he's definitely dead at some point if he plays the
Explosive
Trap.
Definitive Argus is... I don't know, I feel like Definitive Argus could carry a little bit. If Definitive Argus gets laid down at any point here...
I guess he's, D2's going to have to go ahead with the anti-heal bot next turn.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that. He just has to find Taunters and Molten Giants.
And he gets good anti-heal bot and taunt it up here.
This is great. This is just great for him.
Could D2 pull off this improbable comeback?
Honestly, I'm going to say no because Tundra Rhino, Iron Beak Owl. But I've been wrong before. And I hope I'm wrong again.
So the Rhino's going to come down, and that's one off lethal.
Yeah, always.
For Leper.
So close.
That's the second time he's been just a couple of points.
There's going to be 3 off lethal this turn because he doesn't have the mana to do everything he wants, obviously. But on the following turns, if no healing comes in, if no Jiraxis comes in, if no Siphon Soul, Earthling Farseer, second heal bot, if nothing happens, then there's a slight chance that D2 manages to hang on with his handlock. And that would be a victory for the game as a whole. The world would rejoice.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, here comes the owl.
Yep, and here it is.
Or is he considering a different play here?
I mean, Sludge Belcher would worry you quite a bit if you were to owl this, but you still have to do it because you have so much reach in your deck if no other taunters come up. Like, look
So
at the
he's
amount of damage. He's low on health. And Defensive Argus is the only saving grace.
Yep, so the
Got to
soul
be
comes
kidding
down.
me. Is this... Could this work? Could this actually work?
He's gonna heal back up to 6.
D2 is currently praying, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't know. Oh no. No, is this? No, he doesn't have it yet. No kill commands in hand. The Unleash the Hounds is not lethal yet.
It's not lethal yet,
But actually he's on 2 health. How does he
and he can.
actually yeah, how do no.
I mean, he could have played the explosive trap this turn.
He could still play it this turn, not that it matters much. Just coin it out right now.
But yeah, that's
it's
what he's going to
irrelevant.
do. He's just going to play absolutely everything. The explosive trap is up, so the next time D2 attacks face, that would kill him off. Does he have... I mean, he's got to be hoping for more... and here's the anti-heal ball!
Plus the
Oh my
Defender of
God.
Arcus. This is a devastating blow to that pride for the Hunter. Oh my goodness, Hunter. The world is rejoicing at the moment. Reddit is probably exploding with tears of joy.
My shield.
This is insane.
This is incredible luck here on D2's part, but he played it well. He maximized his chances, and there is still a chance he doesn't win, though. It is not yet over.
Modern Leopard does not look happy with what's going on here.
Yeah, definitely not. There's no way I'd be happy against one of my best matches. To the double anti-kill bot. That is excruciating.
Sunfury Protector, Defender of Argus.
But there's an Unleash the Hounds. Wait, he did not trade the Sun Fury into anything.
No, he didn't pop the explosive trap.
But I would have attacked maybe a minion at least. But then again, he has to trade them anyway, so let him do it, right?
Sure. He's not even going to be able to clear both the taunters here.
This is devastating here for Modern Leper.
He's one off having enough damage to even clear the taunts, let alone
But this
get through
is
on
a
face
good
now.
play though. He can just wait it out and put the minions on 2 health each and just wait for the kill commands.
Sure, you got to be thinking about that. He's done it with one of them.
Yeah.
Is he going to go ahead and...
You can put him on a clock, basically. You're forcing the Warlock to top deck win conditions right away.
Yeah. And if you start top decking, you know, if you were to top deck into your arcane golems or eagle horn bows and things like that.
Yeah, the game is actually not over here for Modern Leper. He doesn't even have to clear anything.
Oh, he's still probably in the driving seat of this game,
Yeah.
but it's just insane that D2 is still alive. I mean, I would question how many times Modern Leper has even seen turn 10 with this deck. And there's a Sludge Belcher. That's just going to be taunts for days.
Do you even taunt right now, or do you just Dr. Boom away into his hounds? Because you want to remove the beast for kill command. I think to me that is a pretty clear turn.
Sure. And, you know, explosive trap on those bombs, that could mess up whatever Modern Leper is planning here.
Mm-hmm. Because you can kill the 3 hounds, you know, Defender of Argus and the 2, maybe just the 2-1, you know, you just throw it away. Use one of your 4-2s to kill the other hound, then you might drop Sludge Belcher or Dr. Boom. But I feel like removing the beast is a mandatory play here for D2.
Sure. Is there any sense in dropping the 10-mana Mountain Giant here and trying to apply that counter pressure?
Actually, let me think. Mountain Giant plus Dr. Boom into Trigger Explosive Trap. Does this lead to enough damage output to be worth
He's going to go for the Dr. Boom. And
Yeah,
actually, things are looking bad for Modern Leper. He doesn't get anything he needs to clear these taunts. He gets an abusive Sergeant.
He's gonna bite his... Wow.
Earthen
Another
Ring
top deck
Farseer.
from D2. Do you ever stop D2? This is amazing.
This is insane. I mean,
All right, this
we were
is
talking coming into
justice.
this match. We were talking coming into this thinking, okay, so this game's over. We're going to have to find another match to cast because this is going to be over so
No.
quickly.
I'm actually really excited to see... I wish I could see Modern Leper's face right now. I don't have his camera right in front of me, but he's got to be shaking his head. If you... Because, I mean, you sacrifice, I'm assuming, the anti-heal bot. Because if you... Because it's a freezing trap, you're up. You know, you're up in value.
Sure, and the bomb's going to go face. And they're both going to go face for damage here once the explosive
yeah.
trap is off.
And then Earthring Farseer into... The
Earthring
excruciating
Farseer.
Sludge Belcher for...
So now they're both on 7 health.
Is there even a
And,
way for to win here? I can't think
no.
of one.
Modern Leper is dead.
Oh,
So
and
the
he
Hunter deck.
concedes. He commits Sudoku. Good at those number games, and Headlock gets away with the win. I'm actually
What is
mind
going
blown.
on?
I, I
What is
I'll, I'm
going
gonna
on?
say it's top deck town right in this place. And D2, you know what? This is justice for not getting Aldor Peacekeepers, for getting the perfect Undertaker draw on game one. It is just the retaliatory, Hearthstone karma just coming back and biting the Face Hunter in the butt. Now we're gonna have a really a more interesting game this time around. What with the decks that are going to be played? Handlock again, which is a very strong deck against Mage. It's again a really weak matchup for Handlock. Because
This
I
is
mean, since the addition of anti-kill bots and whatever, it's been a little easier, but it is still very tough because they only have to burn you in one single turn.
sure. So we're going to see the Handlock against the Freeze Mage here. This is not going to be an aggro matchup, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen. It's going to be a
prepare.
very different matchup. And in
Get
fact,
your drinks.
I mean, you have to give credit to D2 there, but even just being able to make those decisions on the Handlock, because you're playing in that matchup, you're playing Handlock in a way that Handlock was never meant to be played.
Yeah, you're playing tempo. You're playing mid-range Warlock at that point. That's pretty much what he was playing. He was playing mid-range Lock. There was no Handlock at all in this entire lineup. It was one of the weirdest playstyles for Handlock to embrace. But ultimately, those top decks from Anti-Killbot and everything Farseer teach us a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Never concede until you see your next card. It might just be the one.
The
And that was a
healing-
nasty streak of top decks.
The heal that was,
Uh,
I mean, D2's top decks all through that game were pretty great into what
Yeah.
you needed. You
Yo,
top deck the
definitely.
owl, the healing, the taunting, even the big game hunter on turn 3 to force the trades.
Yeah.
Like we said, forcing those trades made all the difference.
Throw everything in the way. It's like you're just throwing anything you can find in your way,
Well, I mean, two down to 2 health or 1 health, and it
Mhm.
made such a huge difference that he had taken 1 or 2 damage off the board in those earlier turns.
Yeah, because he would have taken a total of about 4 extra if he hadn't been able to top deck the BGH, and that would have spelled lethal for
And
the
the owl.
hunter. So, yeah, the owl
So
as
he-
well.
He
So
would have
everything
taken,
was.
I think you're right.
flawless.
I think that's 4 damage, and
Yep.
the Undertaker could have snowballed as well.
That I'm just impressed here. I am, but then again, we have to say that the web spinner giving the Tundra Rhino was also a pretty decent outcome here for Modern Leper because that allowed him to get an instant attack with the Iron Beak Owl that he played.
And that, yeah, I mean, that felt like the thing that was going to save Modern Leper when the match was slipping away from him. That Thunder Rhino was going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
But that matchup was just absolutely insane. You're never going to see a matchup like that again in a tournament, I don't think.
I would love to see one, but this is D2's chance to recover from the. So first of all, they both lost their first match, right? Their first games today. So
Sure, so this game is
kind of
absolutely
the
crucial.
elimination game. Whichever loses this has. Does he instantly lose because there are 3 rounds, or?
Sure, so I think a 1-2 record means you're out. There's
Oh,
no
alright,
way for
so-
you to come back. So the
Yeah.
loser of this game is out of the Challengers League, and the Sunfury Protector does come into hand for the Handlock.
I
Doesn't
don't
get
know
the
how you're
Mountain
happy
Giants and the
about that.
Twilight Drakes.
He might be playing around potential mech mages, but Freeze Mage. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be that happy facing Freeze Mage's Handlock, obviously.
Double Ice Block in hand for Modern Leper as well on the Freeze Mage.
Yeah, Mad Scientist's value gets diminished tremendously in this case.
How do you rate this matchup, Noxious? Who do you think is the favorite here with Freeze Mage versus Handlock?
I think before GBG, it was almost too favored for the Freeze Mage. It still, to a large extent, is in many ways because you just burn your opponent down when they're not ready. Oh, the Lotheb is going to play a very important role in this game.
And the Twilight
Wow.
Drake as well.
So many secrets here.
It's
Yeah,
coming out for Modern
This is
Leper.
good.
The Mad Scientists are going to have basically no value here. In
Yeah.
fact, I assume he only is running maybe even two ice barriers, but
He already
instead of
topped like the first one.
instead of coining the Twilight Drake, he opts for the Sunfury Protector here, D2.
Which I think is the better play by many, by miles, because you're not trying to protect yourself against minions in this case, right? It's never going to happen. And if you ever have to protect yourself against minions, you still have the other defensive Argus, and you already top decked your second Sun Fury. So at what point will you need anything from this little 2/3 than a body? You want to be able to trade with Mad Scientists, maybe force removal, be able to whittle away the mage's health before it's too late. So that could be very important.
And it does mean that not coining out the Twilight Drake means that he curves very well into the next 2 turns. There's
Exactly.
Twilight Drake on turn 4 and a Lotheb on turn 5. And Lotheb absolutely crucial in this Freeze Mage matchup.
I would venture to say that Lothar is probably going to be kept for those the turn where he expects to be unleashed on with
So he's got a
Frostbolts and
Sludge
Ice
Belcher for turn
Lances.
5 instead.
It's gonna be amazing though, either way. And no Mad Scientist is getting played here because he knows that it's just a sacrifice to the Sunfury Protector that goes nowhere.
So he triggers the secret just to check it's not Mirror Entity, because no one wants that.
And the worst possible top deck here is Ice Barrier, because that means the Mad Scientist will guarantee 0 value.
Absolutely. He is going to play the Mad Scientist out here. I guess try and force a trade with the Sun Fury.
Yeah, but can he even afford to? I don't think it's relevant. You just go all in.
And he's going to put up an Ice Block.
Yeah, you can't really afford trading here. You just have to try to whittle away at the mage's health before he can actually stabilize and unleash on you.
Okay, so is this going to be a Sludge Belcher turn, do you reckon?
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. He has a
Particularly as
Siphon Soul in case something drastic or problematic occurs.
But he's going to go for the Defender of Argus and just try and pile in the damage. I think he probably recognizes that that is an Ice Block, and he needs to try and run that Ice Block out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, in theory, it could still be a mage that runs duplicates. So playing the Defender of Argus, I mean, mirror entities and duplicates are still played in some mage. So playing the Defender of Argus ensures that you're playing around secrets. And that's kind of one of the criticisms that a lot of people have had, myself included, about mirror entity, is that even if it's not that card that's getting played, you still have to play around it. And that's causing a lot of lines of play to get altered slightly, to the point where sometimes you'll play something like a Defender of Argus instead of a Sludge Belcher.
We were actually we were discussing this before, that particularly yourself, find as your playstyle, you could be often too pessimistic playing around things that might happen, and it can really mess up your lines of play and kind of tunnel vision your strategy a little bit.
Yep, most definitely. All right, the telegraph has been sent to D2 here. I am planning to wipe your board. Damaged a little bit at a time.
And he has to know one of these secrets is more than likely an Ice Block at this point.
Yeah, he's seen Ice Barrier. He has to assume the other one is Ice Block, and now he just goes all in.
So it's a second Ice Barrier.
Yep. And the mage is on turn 7, and Flame Strike is going to give a marginal, if any, value. There is no Frost Nova to go with the Doomsayer in hand right. So, quite frankly, this is not looking too bad.
No, I mean, the only thing that the Freeze Mage could do to clear the board would be to use both his Ice Lances, and you don't want to be doing that because you need that for burst damage.
Oh, you can't afford to do that. You have to hope that maybe Flame Strike will buy you some time, I guess. But you're taking another 8 in the meantime.
And there's a Mountain Giant coming into hand.
Oh, I can't believe this. The handlock is putting so much pressure on the mage right now. There's no polymorph, there is nothing.
Antique Healbot as well. And that's going to be so crucial.
Bring it on, Alexstrasza. I'm ready. Yeah, you know what though? How much damage does he have in hand with a Frostbolt, 2 Ice Lances? He's not quite there yet. Not quite to the lethal, not at all.
Is it what, 17?
With the 2 Ice Lances? No, not even that, because it's 3 plus 10, so it's only 13 damage at the moment.
Only 13, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, for 10 mana, he could get close with Fireballs, but he's only on 7.
Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry, with the Ice Lances and the Fireball as well. He has that much damage in hand.
There's 19 sitting there waiting to be used, but Antique Healbot.
Acolyte of Pain, that's not what he needs.
I think you still have to develop it and possibly just ping it to get a card draw and hope for Nova and Doomsayer for the following turn. But then again, there's Iron Beak Owls. You haven't seen a single one. You haven't seen a single Siphon Soul.
There's a Siphon Soul sitting in hand for D2. So the first Doomsayer that comes down is going to be completely neutralized.
Yeah, and the Lotheb and Antique Healbot just say, whatever you think you're going to throw at me, I'm going to deflect it right away. Alexstrasza, you setting up a lethal through spell usage, that is not going to work.
Absolutely. This is a really good position for D2 at this point.
The second Flame Strike comes in the hand. So do you Ice Lance the Giant here to make sure that you don't get your first Ice Block popped on the following turn?
I feel like you've got to at this point. I think you really, really need to stall the popping of that Ice Block, because that's what's absolutely crucial, is that you can manipulate the 2 Ice Block popping turns. That's really how Freeze Mage wins, is being able to control when those Ice Blocks are popped.
Yeah, but he's not in that position right now. I mean, he might be hoping for a second fireball to be able to deflect. Oh, that is a nice play. I do like that. This is going to force a here from D2. If the Icelands goes down on the Giant, but then again, Iron Beak Cowl and Siphon Soul.
Yes, I mean Siphon Soul. So he is going to use the Ice Lance on the Giant, like we said, but so he's not going to be able to get the ice.
Oh,
And there's the
wow.
owl coming into hand.
So do you Iron Beak Cowl your Giant and Siphon Soul the Doomsayer?
Do you? You could, but that feels like a lot of removal to effectively to kill to get over the Doomsayer. Do you maybe keep Siphon Soul for another Doomsayer, or even for something coming down like Alexstrasza?
Well, the thing is, if after Alexstrasza comes down, all you have to do is drop a Loatheb. You know, it's really that simple. You just stop the turn for a little while. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, either way, this Doomsayer is not triggering. That's pretty much what we're getting at here. This thing is just not triggering. But getting 16 damage in right now would put the mage in a really awkward spot. If you just silence your Giant and hit for 16, he's gonna be on 2 health. That makes it much easier for you to kill him. And Alexstrasza as a follow-up to save him doesn't even save him. He needs to play the second block, and then...
In fact, actually, the ultimate Alexstrasza comeback on turn 9, Coin, Loatheb, Anti-Keelbot. I mean, that's just the ultimate counter.
Yeah, that is ultimate counter. There's no way he can actually recover from that. If he draws Alexstrasza, he's going to have to Alexstrasza himself. That's how bad this is.
He's actually going to go ahead and trade rather than use the Siphon Soul. I guess like we say, he's trying to use the Siphon Soul, keep it in reserve for something that he might come into later. Arcane
Frost
Intellect
Nova needs to be top decked very hard. And, there's something to be said about Dr. Boom in this matchup as handlock. They can't wipe your board if he's there. If they're low on health and he's on the board, they can't flame strike because if the boom boss go to their face, the ice block does not trigger, which leads to instant loss. It's like the leper gnome syndrome.
What to do?
It's a difficult turn here for Modern Leper. I guess he's going to try and dig for more things with Arcane Intellect. He can Arcane Intellect his Acolyte of Pain here to get 3 more cards and hope for a Frost Nova, like we said.
I think Iceland, maybe just Arcane Intellecting and Ice Lancing, because Flame Strike is still a decent play. You could Flame Strike the board and then Ice Lance the Giant, just to stall a little bit.
I think you probably ping the Acolyte first because you can.
Yeah, but then you can't play Flame Strike. It doesn't. You have to get Nova at that point. He's all in on Nova.
Well, he's still able to play Flame Strike if he pings the Acolyte, but you can also hope that he gets Blizzard, and then the Ice Lance comes out. Doesn't get it, gets a bloody Stalnos. So he's going to go ahead and play the Flame Strike.
This is a really awkward position, though, because he knows his Ice Block is likely to go off. Although, currently, in the hand of D2... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, we don't see enough to pop the Ice Block. And you know what? I think this is a death sentence. Pop the block with the Dark Bomb, then drop Dr. Boom. And then there is nothing left for the mage to do.
Absolutely. So D2, from what seemed like an impossible position against that Hunter, it looks like he's in the driver's seat here. He's going to drop...
Just Loatheb. Alright, he doesn't want to get OTK'd, but he's already seen 1 Ice Lance. I guess he wants to play it hyper safe, which is understandable.
I mean, this is a very, very safe play, but it's a very, very sensible line of play from D2. It means that he's putting up taunts, so nothing can go to his face. He's got so much damage on board that can't be cleared. Blizzard would keep return if D2 doesn't top deck another Dark Bomb or another Silence.
And he says, thank you, D2 is BMing. After seeing the Face Hunter, I guess the salt kind of goes up to your ears a little bit, and it just starts pouring out. And one of the release valves is the thank you emote.
You never want to be the first person to look like an asshole on Hearthstone, but when he's already played the Face Hunter, it feels like all bets are off.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? That's fine by me. I don't really...
Oh, second Ice Block, Explosive Sheep.
Yeah, and so I guess you just played Boom
we
Boy.
talk about secret value. We talked about Mad Scientist value being diminished. How about the value of an 8-mana Ice Block?
Yeah, well, that's sometimes the only play, unfortunately. And now, I mean, you can't play Dr. Boom here, can you? I mean, I think you attack the sheep with your. I mean, yeah, Dr. Boom would only spawn one bot, so maybe you attack the.
I think you Mortal Coil the
Yeah,
sheep.
your own watcher. Yeah, no, you
Oh
could
no,
Mortal Coil your own
I was
watcher.
gonna say I was gonna say you could Mortal Coil the sheep, and that will clear the board enough for you to play Doctor Boom and just assure victory.
So many
And then hit him in the face with your giant
Or
because you
giant, just
can.
yeah, just because you can.
Because you
I
want to
think
hit
you
the face with
sacrifice the
giant.
2/3 and just draw Boom because it frees up space and it's fine, really. In the end, it's all the same.
Yeah,
Alex
it's all the
Strauza
same.
doesn't save him. Um,
In
wait,
fact, he's looking at very, very safe play and thinking about anti-Keelbot.
he does not. He does not even want to bother with it. He's like, you know what? The protection from the board wipe, I don't need it.
Anti-Keelbot Sludge Belcher, and he's looking for a perfect game here is what he's looking for.
Yeah,
30 and 0.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe this.
What a matchup here, D2 coming back from that Face Hunter matchup.
Yeah, as I said,
Oh,
like
dear.
it's one of those things where like pretty hugely favored pre-GVG, but post-GVG with the addition of anti-heal bots and Dr. Boom, I feel like it makes it a bit easier because you basically get a hey, you can't wipe my board, and if they don't find their Novas very early with Doomsayers, you're going to have a much easier time of it.
Okay, so this is going to be a Thalnos Blizzard turn, I think.
Yep, and it's gonna be a Dr. Boom Shadow Flame the Boombot turn.
Wow, yeah, that's that's insane. Oh, that's gonna be a crazy lethal, and that's
Yeah.
gonna get him his perfect game. So, is D2 gonna do that?
He has to see it.
He's
he's
been
got-
so
he-
reluctant.
What?
He's Mortal Coiling the 1/1.
Oh, that's it.
So
Oh,
that's
the
gonna be
BM, the top deck lethal.
He had lethal in hand with the Shadow Flame Boombots, but didn't need it because he top decked an Owl, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be such a sweet victory for D2.
Yeah, I would be, if I were him, I'd be pretty happy about this one. All right, well played, D2. I guess that means he's going up 2-1 against Modern Leper, which actually took the first game off that Paladin. I didn't think that Face Hunter would be able to do that, but it did.
And then that handlock Face Hunter game, wow! I don't think we're gonna
Yeah.
see another game like that.
I don't think so. I don't think Handlock will ever be as happy to play a BGH naked against a Lepronome ever again.
The most entertaining thing I think possibly in this tournament so far was because Twitch chat has been rooting for the underdog in every match that we've seen. So
Okay.
Modern Leper boys in the chat, and I don't actually have the stream on. I just have the chat, and and Twitch is on a 10-minute delay, so I could
Okay.
I could track the point where they realized that Leper was playing Face Hunter.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
just
everything
Twitch chat
turned around. Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's obvious, of course. You're like, oh, you know what? Let's root for the guy we don't know anything about. And then, oh, Face Hunter. What is this? Oh, never mind. I'm not rooting for him. Die in a fire.
It's absolutely crazy. Well, we do have some more results to bring you as well. Dark Sub managed to come back from his loss to RDU and beat Access 2-0. Access, who won his first game, so that's going to be a very interesting group indeed. Impact victorious 2-0 over his teammate Faramir. RDU won his second game, so he's assured in the second round. In fact, Impact beats Faramir 2-0. He won his first game 2-0 as well, and gets a 2-0 walkover in his third game because his opponent is the one player who hasn't shown up for today. So Impact advancing with a 6-0 record. So that's a very impressive performance for him. Pause My Wham losing his second game 2-1 to Gom3RR after winning his first. So that Kit Kat's Pause My Wham game, which we're going to bring you next, is going to be a very important game indeed. Kit Kat's still playing against Kai. Trying to see if there's any other matchups we want to bring you. A Creole defeated Dale 2-0, so that's a Creole probably assured into the next round, apart from if some shenanigans happen and we need to do tiebreakers again.
Yeah. Yeah, I also want to point out, for those of you who might not be familiar with why we're bringing you results that we haven't casted, is because at the moment there are multiple games getting played at the same time as a result of the format that we're using for the tournament, which is Swiss. Very similar to Round Robin, but a little bit more, a little bit simpler to organize in many ways.
For sure, there are 10 groups of 4 players. We played 5 groups yesterday and 5 groups today. So there are 10 matches happening any one time, 30 games today. And of course, you can follow all of this over at league.hearthstats.net. HearthStats, of course, the organizer of this tournament, and is a great tool for Hearthstone players wanting to improve your game, track what you're doing, track your decks, track your success rates. It's really just if you want to take Hearthstone seriously and really be able to examine your play, HearthStats is such an invaluable tool.
Yep.
Noxious' great contribution there. on the value of
Amazing
hearth
contribution
stats.
on the yep, because I've actually used the tool quite a bit, and it took a little bit of while, like it took a while to get used to, but once I got it, it was honestly one of the easiest thing to get going. So
The
valuable.
endorsement that I can give for hearth stats. I mean, I was a little lax on using the hearth stats, and
Really?
I when I started on Hearthstone, I introduced my girlfriend to Hearthstone. As soon as she started using hearth stats, she got better than me. So
Yeah,
the
because she
hearth
she started
stats.
figuring out like which matchups are good, which are bad, just based on the statistics, like how often you win, how often you lose. So quite frankly, between that and you keeping track of your own plays, sometimes it's just that easy.
Absolutely. And now with the premium subscriptions, you can get video replays on the HearthStats website as well. Something which Blizzard haven't even been able to
To
put into
get
the game
us, yep.
themselves. You can get video replays on HearthStats, and it's a very, very reasonable price for the subscription. Also, you can subscribe to the HearthStats Twitch channel to get the Trump sub emote, which was so requested in the Twitch chat yesterday. You also get
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. But you also get entry into contests, and you get preferred entry into the next season of the Grinders League, which is the qualification league for the Challengers League that we're casting here today. If you get through the Challengers League, you then have a chance to play with the big boys in the Champions League for over $5,000 of prize money. So if you subscribe on the Twitch chat, you'll get preferred entry, and there's only 288 slots in the Grinders League. So there's going to be lots and lots of people wanting to get in on this, and
Yeah.
you so it's definitely well worth subscribing on Twitch.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
great way to get your name out there if you think you've got what it takes to tackle some of the better players out there.
Kit Kat's victorious in his game over Kai 2-1. So we're just waiting on Pause My Wham and Kit Kat's being ready for our third match. It's not on your screen there, but we are going to bring you Kit Kat's versus Pause My Wham. Now, Pause My Wham, not an unknown player, someone who's been around for a little while, is on, I believe, Team PKD.
I've no idea. The name doesn't ring a bell to me.
Let me check. But tell us a
You're
little bit
you're,
about
you're
Kit
the gaming
Kat's.
journalist. I don't remember seeing this name around.
Well, tell us a little bit about Kit Kat's, Noxious. He's obviously the godfather of the Control Warrior.
Yeah, KitKat's basically popularized the ability for any warrior player to get the Armor Smith out of the brawl just by virtue of playing it prior to brawl. He's established that as a law of Hearthstone. A lot of people have commended him for that because without him, this would not be possible. He imposed upon Hearthstone a law, and that is quite a feat, honestly. He's played in a few tournaments and done pretty well, but mostly I think I've seen his performance on ladder. He's one of the he's known for Control Warrior, but I feel like his playstyle with everything is just top notch, and he's a very analytical player. He thinks he just calculates everything as far as what is needed to get lethal in a specific manner a few turns from now. He's very, very analytical about his playstyle. I don't know about the preparation though. I've never seen him prep for tournaments. I just know that like playstyle wise, he's just on point.
Well, Pause My Wham is an ex-WoW TCG pro and a kind of a prolific online tournament play. He's played in a lot of Zotac Cups, Gosu Cups, came very close to in the Gosu Cup pre-BlizzCon World Championship pre-qualifier. So certainly not a player who is any slouch at the game, has played a lot of online tournaments. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. He did lose his second game, so he is going to need to win this third game to make it through to tomorrow's games.
Is KitKat's 2-0 at the moment?
KitKat's
I
is
believe
2-0
so.
at the moment, yeah.
All right. So if KitKats were to lose here, him and Pause would actually get to face each other off, possibly on the following day, since they'll have the same score and move on.
Definitely. But while we're waiting for that game, let's talk a little bit about one of the matchups that we're going to see tomorrow, because we do, in fact, we know a couple of the matchups. We've got the brackets that we're working out as today's matches conclude, and we see where people are going to end up in their groups. But one match that we know we're going to see, obviously, there are 10 players going through from yesterday, 10 players from today, and 4 invited players, which are through their 2 players who came in from the HearthStats Invitational back in September, their achievements there, and 2 players who are substituting for players who couldn't make it. So Ties, NL, and Dart are going to be coming in, as well as Dark Wonix and Tiddler Celestial, all the way from China. Came second in the World Championships, one of the very best players in the world. And tomorrow, we're going to see Tiddler Celestial go up against Sixo of Team Archon.
Oh, goodness.
2 of the very best players in the world are going to be competing, and that I think at 3 p.m. EST tomorrow, we're going to be bringing you that one. That match is going to be absolutely insane. I can't wait to call that one.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what Zixo will. I mean, is he because he might change his decks, right? In the meantime, we have no idea. Because I know the decks that he was running yesterday, but he might have something completely different tomorrow. And Tiddler has obviously proven that best winning player, like earnings wise, as far as tournament rewards go, unless I'm
Number two,
mistaken. Number two, who was the first one?
Firebat.
Really,
It's
he
very,
put.
very, very close.
Yeah, okay. It must be a really, really small margin then, because as far as I thought, it was enough for WCA to throw Tiller Celestials just way ahead of everyone else for a while, and then I guess BlizzCon came around and put Firebat slightly ahead of him.
Sure, I think Firebat and Tither Celestial were the only players to get over $100,000 in prize
Yeah,
money earned last year. So that's a pretty big achievement.
yeah. Within the next few years, that might change, but for the time being, that's still a big thing. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of prize money.
Definitely, yeah. It's checking my massive spreadsheet of player earnings because
Oh, you
I
have
have
that? Okay.
I did a big article on it, Noxious, and the
You
fact that
are
you didn't
well
read it
prepared.
makes me sad.
No.
Yeah, Firebat was the top earning player last year, and Tittle Celestial just behind him. But yeah, they were the two players who got over $100,000 in prize money last year. You know, Tittle Celestial didn't just come out of nowhere for the World Championships. Second in WCA, played in the CNKR Masters tournaments. He's definitely no slouch, and a very, very confident player, very calm player. And I'm excited to see what he brings. It's not very often we get to see these top Chinese players competing against Western pros.
Yeah, it's actually true because most of the tournaments that we have here in the West, if you want to speak of it like this, we have loop of players that get invited pretty much systematically to the tournaments. Obviously, they're good, and that it's not because they're getting invited systematically that they're getting cherry picked for. And there are a lot of more tournaments like the one for HearthStats where you get to enter. It doesn't matter whether you're known or not. You just get to qualify for it. I think there was also the Pinnacle tournament, and there's another
Yeah,
one where they just have a lot of open entries based on your ladder performance, and this leads it kind of democratizes the tournament scene a little bit. And I think this is going to get broader and broader of a theme to look forward to, especially in the next year that's coming up. It's going to be like the big Hearthstone year. I feel for 2015 most definitely.
sure. Hearthstats, of course, leading the way with this tiered league. ESL as
Hmm.
well with the Legendary Series, which is very few invites, but mostly completely open qualifier. And the big LAN ESL Legendary Series, you know, even the invited players had to qualify through a couple of rounds to get through that. So that's the first big LAN of the season. But Hearthstone Champions League coming up in February, and we're going to see 8 players at the end of these 4 days. So just to lay out the format for the next couple of days, tomorrow is going to be a longer day than we've brought you these past 2 days. We're going to be casting 6 games tomorrow through the round of 24 group stage, and then on Thursday we're going to bring you 4 games in the round of 16. And the 8 players who win that round of 16, they're guaranteed entry into the Champions League. So big prizes on offer potentially if you make it through to the very top division.
Do we have any news on Kit Kats and Pause?
We're just waiting on Kit Kats being ready. So I was stalling there a little bit, to be honest. But apparently they're here. So we're gonna get in. They're just doing the bans right now. So in fact, let me take a look at the lineups that we have here for
Yep.
Kit Kats.
I can bet you Control Warrior, but I might be wrong. I've seen him go without Control Warrior for a tournament, and I was astonished.
No, so we have Control Warrior, we have a Mage, and we have a Druid for Kit Kats. And for Pause My Wham, we have Warlock, Warrior, and Hunter.
Wait, Warlock?
Warlock, Warrior, and Hunter for Pause My Wham.
Wow, okay. That is potentially an aggressive lineup. It has potential to be a very aggressive lineup. Because, I mean, if Kit Kats is playing Warrior, Mage, and Druid, I think a little slower as far as the deck roster. But if his opponent is playing Warlock and Hunter, I mean, those are basically the two best aggro decks if he's playing those versions of them.
And what do you ban here if you're Kit Kats, if you're looking at Warlock and Hunter in the lineup?
Mid-range Hunter, possibly. I mean,
If it's
you probably expect it to be mid-range, so I would maybe consider banning Hunter because you are running Mage.
Is there a chance we see another?
I think mid-range Hunter is too difficult. Control Warrior has problems with Savannah High main, and that can be problematic enough that you might not be wanting to risk it. And Mage has a pretty glaring weakness to some of the Hunter plays that can be made sometimes, especially with the popularity of Freeze Mage nowadays. Everybody who's playing Hunter, if they plan to not have the class banned, might tech something very interesting, such as a Flare, something that might come back. It's kind of rare, but it does happen. I'd be kind of curious to see what the deck lists are, but I spoil
What would
that
you
for
ban
myself.
if you're Pause My Wham here, you do have a warrior, which we can go ahead and assume is a control warrior deck, and the possibly two hyper aggressive decks in the zoo and the hunter. Are you gonna? And I guess you're playing against Kit Kats. Are you just?
I ban Control Warrior all the time
Yeah.
because if I'm playing Hunter and Warlock, those are not necessarily my like. I expect him to ban my Hunter. In return, I'm left with Warlock and my own Control Warrior. So if I ban the Control Warrior, I might get a better matchup for the rest because Mage is probably a guaranteed win if I'm playing my Warrior. Control Warrior against Freeze Mage is generally insta win for the Warrior, so that's pretty standard. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think Kit Kat's lineup is really strong anyway. Whatever gets banned, he's got ways to cover for it. I really like the lineup he's got.
Is there any merit to banning the warlock if you're Kit Kats and leaving the hunter? In fact, so we can see the bans here now. It looks like the warrior of Pause My Wham has been banned.
And the Druid of Kit Kats was banned.
That's unexpected. So the hunter and the warlock of Pause My Wham are left standing, along with the warrior and the mage of Kit Kats. So that's the druid.
This mage is going to have. I mean, Hunter has a pretty decent way to deal with mage, but the Control Warrior of Kit Kat staying up is actually quite unusual. I'm actually a little surprised by that.
I guess it's just the fear of Control Warrior in the hands of Kit Kats, isn't it? Most people would just say that's got to be banned straight away.
But I mean, banning Druid kind of makes sense if you're playing Handlock, if you're afraid of double combo. And I really want to know what the archetype is of that Hunter, because depending on what it is, it's either going to be amazingly easy to win or excessively hard. It's kind of one of those awkward middle grounds, where against Mage, if you're playing hyper-aggressive, they generally don't have time to stabilize and you just steamroll them. Or if they're playing something a little more mid-rangey, then that can be a little bit more problematic, although the win rate is still pretty decent.
So if we assume this is Freeze Mage from Kit Kats, what if these are two hyper aggressive decks? How does the Freeze Mage stack up?
It dies. Yeah, that's it. There's no other word that just falls apart and explodes in, like, I guess, little mage pieces. Because quite frankly, you need a little bit of time to stabilize with, you need to put out your secrets. If you don't have Mad Scientist, that's a big tempo loss. If they silence your Mad Scientist, that's an even bigger tempo loss. Because you then have to pay 3 for each of them. But by the time you can start Frost Nova-ing and dropping the Doomsayers and whatnot, it's too late.
It's too
late. You've already taken, 20 damage at that point.
So the Control Warrior, and if it is an aggressive hunter deck, or even just a mid-range hunter that draws very, very well, and if this is a zoo deck, the Control Warrior has a big problem as well. This could be a very one-sided matchup if this is hyper aggro versus control.
Yeah, Control Warrior has a generally easier time against like hyper aggro hunter. If they're running, the thing is, if they're prepared for a very, very late game, like a game that's going to last for a long time, they're expecting control heavy metagame or mid range heavy metagame, they're gonna be very, very greedy deck building wise, and that will punish them against a deck like hyper aggro hunter. Because they cut out, stuff like Whirlwind has been cut out nowadays because they don't see that much aggro. So they tend to metagame against mid-range and control, which if somebody reads into that preparation, will just play Hyper Aggro Hunter and just roll over them.
I guess we have seen a lot of Druid and things in this tournament as well. In fact, Druid and not as many lineups today as we saw it yesterday. We saw it in every one of the 8 lineups that we casted yesterday. It's only been in 3 out of 6 so far. And more Hunter today than we saw yesterday.
Did we even see Hunter yesterday? I completely forget. I just know that the Hunter we saw today was something I haven't seen for a long time in tournament formats.
Well, we're just waiting to get this game set up here for Kit Kats versus Pause My Wham. But you can bet Kit Kats has got his Control Warrior. And, what do you open with here for your Kit Kats? Do you go for the Control Warrior just because it's such a consistent performer?
Yeah, I would probably open up with Control Warrior because there's a possibility that I can sweep him. You can do okay against Handlock. Pretty well, depending on how you tech. If you're prepared for mid-range / control decks, you're going to be running very specific cards that have been experimented with by a lot of top players that are going to roll over Handlock in many ways. And depending on the preparation, you could also beat Zoo. So that's not impossible. I mean, Zoo's still not an amazing matchup since you have to sometimes cut, crucial cards like Unstable Ghoul in order to get better mid-range / control matchups. But it's still a pretty decent matchup. You can still do pretty fine with Control Warrior against either of these two classes.
Sure. It's, we can bring you this matchup as quickly as possible. We're just waiting on these players getting ready. Not sure what's taking them so long. But as soon as we can get into that, we will bring it to you. We've kind of run out of things to talk about, but let's talk again about this beautiful ban screen. Um,
Oh
all
goodness.
the all this art custom commissioned by HearthStats. It's all original art. So thanks to all the artists who contribute to this ban screen to all these classes. I'm particularly a fan of the mage and the hunter. I'm not sure what he's doing there. The legs are kind of confusing me.
He's
Um,
climbing a mountain.
okay, I can't see the feet of the hunter, so it just looks like his legs are
Oh,
in
he's
another
definitely climbing
alignment.
a mountain. I mean, there is no mountain high enough for Rexar.
Not too sure about Gromash. He doesn't look not Gromash. About
Garrosh.
about Gayrosh. He doesn't look that intimidating, to be honest.
Yeah, he's I guess he's your new best buddy. He's not big enough to be an orc, I guess. I mean,
No,
Rexar is a lot more Garroshy than Garrosh, I
it's true.
guess.
And thankfully, we can now shut up about this art and bring you a matchup.
All
So
right.
it is actually the freeze mage against the Wham.
All right, so good game. Freeze Mage goes. No, actually, this opener from the Zoo Warlock might just turn everything upside down. So, okay, I have a question. Do you just dump Doomsayer right now?
Well, he can't throw it back, so I guess
No,
you're
but
pretty
like, do
much.
you just dump it on the board right now? Because you see that Undertaker opener. Oh, yeah, okay, he does it. He slams the Doomsayer on the board and prays for an R&B cowl.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. He's just gonna try and kill the Undertaker with a
He's like,
Doomsayer.
you know what? There is absolutely no good response in circumstances like these. Let's go all in. And I think this is going to get to turns where he can finally play, Frost Novas and Cones of Cold, possibly. Whatever it is that the new Freeze mages tend to run. A one of Cone of Cold is not that unusual.
So he could develop an ice barrier or an ice block here.
Blood Mage is slightly better because you can still develop those. He's got no board presence as a result of you playing the Doomsayer really early. Like he can't just kill it and then play something else. So developing Blood Mage for card draw is perfectly fine.
Two secrets in hand already. We talked about the Mad Scientist and how you need to get value from that in this matchup. Acolyte of Pain a little bit slower than he probably wants in this match. There's lots and lots of options in the hand of the Zoo, and saving that Haunted Creeper last turn and playing the Harvest Golem instead of maybe the Haunted Creeper and Flame Imp, he's going to have two Death Rattles to play on this turn and buff that second Undertaker.
Yeah, the mage is going to try to find some more of the stall that he's got because once he gets a good, rotation of board wipes going, it's pretty straightforward. Now, the drawback of dropping Doomsayer against a Zoolock, on turn 2, because you have to, because of the start that he gets, is that the Warlock will have a full hand. So he can just start, pumping out minions after minions, even if you wipe them out. So this gives him a little bit more of a hand fill, and he's going less all in on the board as a result. And also, Death Rattle minions tend to be very sticky. Or icky.
So he's going to go with the Haunted Creeper and the Clockwork Gnome, buffing up the Undertaker. Does get the Frost Nova for Kit Kats.
Yeah, very good card here. Going to help him stall a little bit. Does he have to play just yet, or can he just wait a little longer? And attacking the Clockwork Gnome, or... I mean, drawing card is obviously very important here. He needs to find even more board wipes, because Frost Nova Blizzard is nice, but like, how nice is it? In the immediate sense.
It never feels good when you have to drop Frost. Really, just stalling like that with Frost Nova against aggro and putting them back a turn when you don't have any answers. It never feels that great.
Yeah, I'm just curious what he's going to opt for, because I mean, obviously, if he Frost Novas now, he's going to be able to get a Blizzard up next turn, which is a really, really good follow-up. But if he can't kill the Haunted Creeper next turn, I guess you could ping the Haunted Creeper and Frost Nova afterwards to guarantee the Blizzard doesn't kill it and give you even more stuff to deal with. Yeah, he does exactly that. All right. Well, so I guess that made sense after thinking a little bit about the play.
Now, turn 5. Do you just slam a Doom Guard here?
Oh, you just pass. You let the mage wipe this board. You know he's been waiting for it for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to save that Doom Guard for when you need it. But he does have a Void Walker and a Flame Imp in hand. He actually has some really good tools to refill the board if he decides to just pass here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what playing a Doomsayer against the Zoo early will do. Dumping the Void Walker.
Well, it's very interesting when it's not going to die straight away to the Blizzard, but he's going to die to the Acolyte.
Yeah, Acolyte's going to draw another card. That is actually really good for him. Kit Kat's getting maximum value out of the Acolyte of Pain so far.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about the choice to put that Void Walker down there.
It was a sacrificial lamb, I guess.
I guess you stop the Harvest Golem token dying or any something like that, but
No, I wouldn't even have done that. I mean, the only thing you're protecting is the 2/1 that spawns. That's it, really.
yeah.
It doesn't even help that much. And now, however, if you look at KitKat's hand, it's pretty dry. Oh, wow. All right. Well, 4 imps.
Oh dear.
Here they come,
4
ladies and
imps,
gentlemen.
Knife
4
Juggler
free damage
straight to the face.
That's 4 damage. Oh, goodness. But at least there's no Doomguard play or anything like that, as long as the board is completely filled, which it is.
That is something you've got to be aware of. Actually, with Implosion, this is a position Zoo can get itself into. Antonidas is not what was required, but
And
Cone
you
of
don't even
Cold
want to
here?
kill anything. You don't even want to kill anything because you're afraid of bigger drops coming down. And you have no Flame Strike, no Blizzard, no Nova, but you still have to. It's one of those situations where you just have to do something, but nothing you do makes you happy.
I mean, you could Cone of Cold and ping the Undertaker, I guess.
I think if you Cone of Cold, you have to develop a secret, just so you don't have to later.
That's true. It does, you know, when are you going to get that 3 mana in to develop? And in fact, both Ice Blocks in hand, Mad Scientist is just out of the equation at this point, really.
That Frost Nova fetch is real.
Always for Arcane Intellect.
All right, this will do it. That Blizzard is going to be amazing.
Sure, he's going to go for the Cone of Cold to stall the Undertaker and the Knife Juggler.
Yeah, this might. Oh wow, Nerubian Egg just to annoy the Blizzard after everything is said and done. Wait,
Sure.
he plays. He has to play it, doesn't he?
I would think so. I think you've got to think that, as you say, if you having frozen those 2 minions, you've got to think that he's stalling for something like a Blizzard or even a Flame Strike. So the Nerubian Egg looks like that's going to come down. That's a very, very smart play. Face.
All right. So, do you have to Icelands the remaining 4/4? I don't think you do, but it
So
may
that's-
feel tempting.
So that's actually 5 damage, 6 damage this turn with the spare part, and down at 11 health. He's not going to be able to develop the secret next turn either because he's going to have to use the Blizzard.
Yep. The Frost Nova. You know what? Frost Nova might be the play here, because by Frost Novaing, you're forcing the Zoo to do nothing. He can't play
Sure.
anything at the moment. So maybe Frost Nova and pinging that 1/1 that egg, so that you can then ping it manually following turn and then Blizzard.
Yeah, when
is
you
a
don't
possibility.
when you don't have a Doomsayer follow up, this is probably the next best feeling when playing a Frost Nova is stopping your opponent from being able to play anything on the board.
Yeah, and the interesting part about that play is that it also allows you to develop a secret right now, so that you're guaranteed not to get blown up by surprise. I mean, he does have his 2 ice blocks and the ice barrier in hand.
So he's going to go for that Frost Nova and probably you develop the ice block here or
No,
ice barrier.
Well, I mean, ice barrier could still be gotten from the mad scientist, so you have to get one of the blocks out.
Sure.
On the options that you, I mean, I'm guessing he plays mad scientist. I don't know for sure, but as a general guess, I'd assume so.
He just pings face there rather than trying to ping the Nerubian Egg and thinking about that.
Is he trying to find that Frostbolt for the... Oh, wow, you know what? He could actually win off of that play. If he finds Fireball or Frostbolt.
He has 1 Fireball in hand and 1 Ice Lance.
Yeah, like if he Fireballs face right now. Well, if he had a Frostbolt, this would be a different story. All right, well, I guess his line of play is much different than what I would have expected. Archmage Antonidas and to freeze the Undertaker. Is that a thing?
guess,
So you get 2
yeah.
fireballs, the ice block pops, you then fireball, ice block again, and then pyroblast for lethal. I think I would have pinged the egg, but last turn.
Yeah, because then how do you deal with the Nerubian that comes out? I guess you're taking damage off the board, but he is going to go ahead and use that Blizzard and kill 7 minions. I mean, a pretty satisfying Blizzard, though. 4 of them are imps and 1 of them's a Nerubian egg, so it doesn't actually feel that great.
Yeah, it's really not a bad play. Quite frankly, it's a really nice one because it gives him breathing room. He ran out of options as far as removal goes, but I thought he would have pinged the Nerubian egg last turn so that he could have killed it, or frozen it this turn rather.
But as you say, it does feel like he pinged face to, play to his win condition a little bit more. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And set himself up for potential lethal.
I mean, I think Archmage Antonidas and Arcane Intellect next turn, it will set up lethal between the ice block, the second ice block, and the ice barrier that was just established. But there's a lot of bursts in the Zoo hand right now. Abuse, Whelming, Doomguard. of bursts you've got to go through.
Defender Vargas, power overwhelming. Oh,
Yeah,
so much on offer.
mm-hmm.
That's going to be 7 damage coming in from this Nerubian.
Does not quite pop the ice barrier, which is very nice.
Even with the power overwhelming, still wouldn't have been able to pop that thanks to the ice block as well.
Yeah, so I'm guessing KitKat has just enough. Oh wow, they're
There's
lethal.
the Frostbolt.
There's a
Pyroblast
lethal.
going to face, and
Yeah.
actually
That is a good game. Next turn,
the
game
freeze
is
mage.
over.
The freeze mage is going to be able to knock off this zoo here.
Mhm.
And this is the point, as you say, where freeze mage is playing solitaire because there is nothing that can be done. He just has to play the cards in the right order. And
Yep.
KitKats is going to go 1-0 up. And the ice block's gonna get popped here.
Yep, most definitely. And the thing is, I mean, there's obviously somebody here praying that there is no fireball in hand, but I mean, Pyroblast has come back and it's giving mages a lot more reach than they used to have. And there comes the lethal from KitKat, who actually played into his win condition a bit more than I thought he would.
Sure, there's the Frostbolt, and doesn't even need the Ice Lance. He can ping for the victory here, and that is going to be game 1, going over to KitKats.
Freeze Mage back in the metagame for real. Oh wow, you thought that thing was gone. I mean, GVG brought it back with a passion. The nerf of Flare was a huge deal.
Yeah, sure. So I was going to say, what is it that you really put down the rise of Freeze Mage to? Is it that nerf to Flare, or are there particular cards that you think are really making the difference now?
I think it's boring, but it's going to be it's going to really just have to be the Flare nerf. I mean, Kazan Mystic was added as an option, but it's a little too highly costed where you feel kind of okay playing it if you know what you're going to be running up against. But in general, we're in formats like Swiss where you have to bring decks that are very broadly tuned. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to play tech cards such as these ones. Not that Flare is unplayable right now.
So we're gonna see this Hunter deck now come into the Freeze Mage, and Noxious, I hope you're sitting down.
Why?
Because you wait forever for buses and then 2 come at once, and you were saying you've waited forever for a face Hunter deck in a tournament.
Really?
It's gonna get interesting.
Oh, you gotta be kidding. Well, the Freeze Mage is dead, then there's nothing that can be done. Ripping pepperonis, Majoroni. So this is a really sad day for mages across the world. Hunters came back with a force, and they're Glaive Zukas, I'm assuming.
So we're gonna see this Hunter deck in short order, but it's a very similar deck to the one we just saw in the Modern Leper D2 match.
Oh my god. And the worst part is I'm afraid that KitKat's Warrior is actually not tailored around aggro. A lot of people, including myself, everybody's been teching their control war to just deal with mid-range. Just the greediest things ever. Like cut Unstable Ghoul, cut Whirlwinds, just cut everything. Which makes the matchups that are hyper-aggressive much tougher as a result.
So here we
so
go.
far, it's a pretty standard hand here for the Hunter.
It's going to be an Undertaker on turn 1, it looks like. Straight away.
Oh,
there's
God,
the Glaive Zuka.
Yeah, okay, this is a perfect tell. Now we know for fact.
Absolutely. I mean, that tells you exactly what archetype we're looking at here.
Yeah.
And it's, is he think he coined Frostbolt here?
No, you just play. He used the Loot Hoarder plus a ping to Undertaker. Or you can use Frostbolt turn 2 to kill the Undertaker and then kill the... Actually, Glaive Zuka is an almost sickeningly better play because you can just kill the... Oh my god. KitKat must be thinking to himself, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Is this really Cancer Hunter? Really, Blizzard? What are you doing to me?
Is this real? Yeah, that's absolutely sick with the... Okay, he's going to go ahead and Frostbolt it. But I Glaive Zuka...
Unleash the Hounds is going to be a very dead card.
Oh man, there's a second Undertaker coming into hand. So Undertaker, Haunted Creeper here. A lot of pressure coming in early from the Hunter.
This is really... I mean, it's not a god draw. Is it? I don't know. I'm just thinking to myself, wait, that's 2 Undertakers and 2 Death Rattle minions plus a Glaive Zuka. I mean, Animal Companion. Okay, you know what? I have to give it here because I have not seen many Animal Companions being run into the Cancer Hunter decks that we see floating around the metagame.
Sure.
Most of them tend to run just hyper aggressive stuff. And Animal Companion is not guaranteed aggression. It's potential huffers, but
And the Leok here, actually, with 3 minions on board, does a lot of work as well.
Mhm.
Uses the Undertaker to trade into the Acolyte and deny the draws rather than pushing in damage. We did talk about the importance of forcing trades in the Face Hunter handlock match, but a pretty sensible decision there from Pause.
So here, let's assume you play Blood Mage Thales and you ping the 2/2 creeper, right? Let's assume you did that. You could then, on turn 5, Frost Nova and ping the creeper, or ping the creeper then Nova, and then Blizzard turn 6 for a perfect removal curve. I feel like that could be a play, even though it leaves you vulnerable to taking a ton of damage in the immediate sense.
You could also go for the Acolyte of Pain instead. I should say that is an interesting line of play, but you got to think so many turns ahead to put that through, and it's very difficult, and you got to rely on lots of things not coming out for the Hunter. And there you see 2 big pieces of the damage potential: Arcane Golem and Kill Command off the tracking. Looks
Yeah,
like it's going to go for the Golem here.
The problem with Golem is that it's very vulnerable to just the baseline removal that mages will play on a good day. They'll
So
just AoE things. So
he's gone for the Kill Command there, and that is, I mean, as long as there's at least 1 minion on board for the Freeze Mage, which isn't always a given, but that's a 6 mana, 6 damage combination in hand there for the Hunter.
yeah, and the kill command is obviously one of the best damage output pieces you've got as a hunter. No questions
Just
asked.
everything going to face again. Both ice blocks in hand for the Freeze Mage. This is so tough.
So you could now, I guess, justify Acolyte. I mean, this is such a tough position. When do you actually get to develop anything you really want?
Sure. So when do you get a chance to develop the ice block?
Yeah, 2 turns from now.
If
And
you're
now the
still
Unleash the
alive.
Hounds might actually be...
Wolf Rider coming into hand.
Unleash the Hounds kill command. This is the best Unleash you'll ever get against a mage. They're also
Sure.
buffed by Leok.
Oh man, that's gonna be 4 damage.
Yeah, plus, Wolf Rider, because why not?
Because why not? Because you have
Yeah.
the damage.
It's like, hey, dude, I got a Wolf Rider. What about you?
But would you not have potentially gone for the kill command here instead to ensure you had a beast on board?
I would have done it personally, but ultimately it averages out to pretty much because Web Spinner is going to give you a beast, right?
Well, Web Spinner doesn't give you beasts. The spectral spiders aren't beasts.
No, the Web Spinner will give you a beast.
Oh, sorry,
in your
yeah,
hand.
the web spinner, but yeah, it could well be a beast that's over 4 mana. So, no.
Open up. Okay, he doesn't. I was gonna say open up the Web Spinner.
Oh, Blizzard comes down. Leok doesn't die, and Corehound. So he wouldn't have had the lethal there if he decides to kill the Leok,
Oh my god.
but he kills the spider.
Yeah, killing Leok. The only
gonna
difference
kill
is you
Leok.
died to kill command, but either way you were already dead because of hero power. So
Yep.
ultimately, killing Leok or not killing Leok was an irrelevant decision. And yeah, Face Hunter getting away with the mage's face here.
Unbelievable.
I have your nose. Yeah, there's no way. This is such a one-sided matchup at times. Like it's incredible. If you get your mad scientist early and you manage to get those secrets out, they will buy you enough time to stabilize. But you really need to get that god draw.
We apologize for making you watch the Freeze Mage Face Hunter matchup. Counseling will be available on your way out the door. That was frankly that was cruel to display
Yeah.
that publicly. It was like a mugging or something. It was just
But it was a
horrible.
good fight. It was a good fight put up by the mage. But as I said, like really, mad scientist is a crucial part of winning that matchup because you really do need to get those secrets without having to spend mana and tempo on it. You have to be able to get those secrets out for free. Otherwise, it costs you way too much time.
And we're going to see the Control Warrior of KitKat's signature deck, the Godfather of Control Warrior.
Mhm.
He's going to have to take on a Face Hunter. So what does the Warrior have to do here? Obviously, you have to draw Fiery Wind Axe.
Well, you have to. So there is one way in the game to deal with Undertakers positively, and that way is Fiery War Axe. There is not a single other card in the game that can actually deal with an Undertaker in a 1-for-1 basis, because I mean it is a 1-mana card. So you have to consider the mana cost of the Undertaker, and there is nothing that takes it out efficiently. At best, Holy Smite, Arcane Shot are going to be 1-for-1s. Fiery War Axe is the only card that can 2-for-1 Undertaker. He's the only card in the game. And that's pretty much the strength of Warrior against Hunter. But being hyper aggressive, since I don't know KitKat's exact deck list, if his deck is very teched, for late game decks, it's going to be very tough for him to find the answers he needs. I mean, what are you going to do if he plays, double BGH, or if he's playing very very greedy late game minions? Is he even going to be able to get them out? That's going to be very tricky. So Armor Smiths obviously being very very strong cards. Is that what I think?
That warrior has Kit Kats tattooed on its forehead.
All right. I guess the signature warrior is Kit Kat. I don't even know what to say here.
I don't know why there are
amazing.
3 warriors on that side of the page, Jeff, but I'm loving it. I'm okay with it.
Sounds about right anyway.
Just Kit Kats on warrior against Pause My Wham.
Yeah, but you forgot to put Undertaker pictures on the right side. That's pretty much the last boss that Kit Kat has to fight.
I'm sure it's just pictures of Undertakers versus pictures of fiery war axes, right?
Yeah.
This is the fight that we're about to see.
Yeah, and there's also when you think of matchups like these where Fire War Axe is so crucial, being on the coin is almost a benefit because you get to mulligan 4 cards away instead of only 3. So the baseline you see 4, then you see 4 more plus a 9th one. So I think the odds of getting Fire War Axe off of a full mulligan after coin is about 56-ish. So the odds are slightly in the Warrior's favor to find what he needs to deal with that early aggression, and transitions into the mid game are not impossible after a War Axe has been found.
Sure. Just trying to have a look and see if we can bring you any other results. RDU won his 3rd game, 2-0 over Axis, so he goes forward with a 6-1 record. He's going to be the winner of his group. Dark Sub, recovering from the loss to RDU, is going to go through 2nd in that group, I believe. Yep, he's going to go through with a 2-1 win over Spanky. Impact gets the walkover win over Noct, as we discussed. Gom 3RR, he's going to be Kai 2-0, and we're into the game here. And wow, Undertaker coin Leper Gnome start. This never ends well.
And you know what? At least there's a cruel taskmaster to kill the Leper Gnome. I mean, that's all you've got to tell yourself at this point. Because if there's no other death rattle, your second cruel taskmaster will kill the Undertaker.
Sure, and there isn't another death rattle in hand for Puzzle Lamb, so that's probably the best possible outcome.
Yeah, Kit Kat must be ecstatic about this. Like, absolutely ecstatic. So he's got finally a little relief from the Undertaker madness. And this is not looking too bad for Kit Kat right now. He got to the turn 4 where everything starts putting itself into place for the Control Warrior player.
He hasn't died yet, so that's good. It's a good start.
But isn't it turn 4?
Eaglehorn Bow comes down and the Knife Juggler on board. Big Ape Hunter there, that's not going to do very much in this matchup. But a piloted Shredder for Kit Kats, that's not too common in Control Warrior, but that certainly shows that he does have a little bit maybe more mid-game, as you say, turn 4. I was going to go ahead and silence that, and maybe he's going to be happy with that, because he does have a Sylvanas in hand.
Sylvanas in Aggro Hunter is not exactly the prime play, in that it doesn't generally steal anything you're really happy to steal. So in this case, I think Shield Maidens will be a priority for him.
Sure, and he has both of them sitting in his hand, so that's a good position. Goes and throws out the BGH. Obviously, he knows there's not going to be a BGH target in this deck, forcing the trade. And another animal companion going to come down. It's going to be the hero power as well. That's going to be a lot of damage between the knife, the buff on the Knife Juggler, the hero power. Already, Kit Kat is down at 15 health, but he's going to start building up this armor with the shield.
I have no time.
And counterattacking as well, which is very, very important, right? Wow, he's going all in here. Does he expects to live? 4, 5, 6. He's on 1 health at the end of this turn. Actually, he's dead.
6, 8,
10.
13.
He's dead. Good game.
He's
good game,
dead. That's it.
This is a good game. So this is
the decision not to play the Shield Maiden is actually...
as I said, I thought Sylvanas was just a miserable card in this matchup, but Kit Kat thought otherwise.
Well...
And, wow, that was a sad day.
Well,
this was... And I don't know if his genuine, or... I don't know, that was quite anti... I mean, I didn't cast anything. What am I here for? What is the meaning of life?
So that's interesting, and it means that we may well
see a resurgence of Aggro Hunter. Yes, I think so, sir. That's actually really cool, though. I mean, it's a deck that I expected eventually the rotation to favor hyper aggressive hunters because people are teching mid range against control against mid range so hard that people are starting to cut obvious aggro counters like Whirlwind, and to get punished, all it takes is somebody to put down their Glaive Zukas and their Arcane Golems and their Wolf Riders, and suddenly you're in a world of hurt if you don't get the perfect start. And that Hunter deck abused the hell out of that, and it turned out to work out for it.
For sure. But let's working out the maths here very, very quickly. Here's something crazy for you. Kit Kats and Pause My Wham, because of it being a 2-1. Okay, so we're going to be going into D2 versus Dale now, actually, because of running through that match. That match hasn't started yet, so we're going to bring you that as a bonus match, and then we'll see if we have any playoffs, but we won't have a playoff in Kit Kat's group, as Kit Kats and Pause My Wham are both going to go through, thanks to Gom3 winning a game in his loss to Kit Kats in the opening match.
Yeah,
So
so
they
they both
avoid
have
the
the same
playoff.
score, right?
They Kit Kats and Pause My Wham have the same score, which is one game lost less
Yeah.
than the other guy in the group than Gom. So Kit Kats, Pause My Wham are through. Impact is through. I'm trying to see if there anyone else who's definitely through, and we're into Dale versus D2 here. And it's a
Control Warrior against Control Warrior.
a Control Warrior mirror match. We're already on turn 4 of 5 here.
Yeah. All right. So I don't exactly know which cards were played, but I can tell you both of them have a Death Bite. One uses have been taken, so I have to assume that sometime in the near past, an Armorsmith died.
Okay, so Dale has the Armorsmith out here, and he's going to go ahead and Cruel Taskmaster it to get a bit more damage in and try and stop the position of D2 in establishing armor.
That's a fine play. He's got the upper hand for the time being, but the hand, I mean, he's got less cards in hand than his opponent, which is going to be a pretty crucial deal here. Being able to
Sure.
apply pressure first can be a big deal. And I mean, these warrior matches, tend to go on for what, hours? Sometimes
I
you
mean-
can go grab a snack and come back, and your opponent is still deciding upon what he wants to do.
I mean, you thought that last game was short. This is going to be the counter to that last game.
Yeah. What I like about these matchups though is the tendency for them to reward deck building very heavily. So, what I mean by this is that every card matters. Every little card that you draw will be effective because you get to usually see the entire deck, or you very often get to 25 cards played or seen, which means that if you've got 2 BGHs instead of only one, that will factor in massively.
Absolutely. Lots of options in hand. It's probably going to be a Shield Maiden turn here on turn 6. It fits the curve very well.
Yeah, it also makes sure that you're gonna have. I mean, I think Dale's here at the top will be wanting to put down some damage on his opponent's face because he's got the Alexstrasza, he's got the Grom, and he's got the Death Bite. So he's trying to bait a Harrison Jones so that his Death Bite is not going to get eaten up by it, and that would ensure that he can trigger his Grom Hellscream without relying on Cruel Taskmasters. It's a very nice long-term play.
Sylvanas comes down here, and you got to feel like this turn is definitely a Shield Maiden. Have any real other lines of play?
I mean, I like the Iron Beak Owl play. I feel like it's probably overall much better.
Sure, so silencing the Sylvanas, and then, in fact, you could even probably kill the Sylvanas here if you were to silence it.
Silence, armor up, shield slam, trade with the Armorsmith, perhaps. I mean, Whirlwind execute works too. Like, there are many ways to approach this, and a lot of them would just give you the value you want. There it goes. See, this is another way to do it, and it's probably a little more effective, in fact.
Using the execute over the shield slam.
Yep, because the armor count you've got right now is not threatened in any way. So between the Shield Maiden and your 6 armor, you should be able to get yourself to a high enough number that you can remove most of the threats that are put down. All right, funny enough, Dale's actually ahead on cards now, which wasn't the case a second ago.
Yeah, it's throwing down these options on board for D2 and having to use that clearance does give Dale the slight card advantage. But here in turn 8, he doesn't have a huge amount of options in hand. He's looking at potentially some shield slam plays, maybe even...
Wait,
maybe
is he thinking of developing Death's Bite?
I can't imagine he's going to develop Death's Bite. I guess maybe he's looking at Gromash and thinking he wants to use the
But
Death's
It's not even nearly done. I mean, a shield block, a shield maiden is going to just wreck you. I hope he's not trying to rush the Grow Mash play, because that would be probably a bit of a mistake. Playing for the long game here can be very viable as an option. Alright, that's what he decides to do. He decides not to try to rush the Death's Bite out.
Definitely. So the armor being developed here, and option of a shield block, but D2's gonna go for the Shield Maiden.
Yeah, actually, this is a pretty troublesome situation because the armor count of Dale is actually low enough, and he's got no Shield Maiden in hand that the Shield Slam cannot remove that 5/5. And, oh well, okay, never mind. Shield Block has been top decked. That will solve that problem.
Absolutely. Shield block, Shield Slam, such a good combo.
Yeah, you just kill the Armor Smith.
Fiery
here for the
Warx as
time
well,
being.
just to clear the board here. But the they both have Alexstrasza sitting in hand, and that's such a crucial card in this Warrior Mirror match. If one player isn't able to develop the armor, which Dale has had his armor shredded here, while D2's got his all the way up to 15, which means the Alexstrasza is going to be so much more effective.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little bit for Daly actually to be able to kill the minions that will come out. Like, if Alexstrasza comes out next turn from D2, which I somehow doubt, if it were to come out, it would be a little bit of a problem. Because there are no big game hunters in the hand right now. Everything he's got is kind of combo-ish. It's your win condition.
Definitely, apart from, the Spellbreaker there's not really... The Alexstrasza is going to come down from D2.
Yeah, no big game hunters in hand, no nothing at the moment.
Doesn't top deck it, Lotheb. He has Death Spite and Execute, but he's going to have to use his face for that, and that's
He's
horrible.
he's going to have to hope that Lotheb cuts it. But unfortunately, I don't know that it will. All he has to do is Shield Slam it and then go on for 10 to the face. And then, I guess, counter Alexstrasza yourself, just so you live. I mean, this is such an awkward turn. He's got no way to get an AoE damage. Just one damage on Alexstrasza. Just one to be able to execute it, but he's got nothing of that. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, it seems like this game is maybe Dale here.
It's slipping away, but all it would take is one good top deck, because the aggression from D2 is heavily reliant on the Alexstrasza that he's got right now. So if at any point an answer to Alexstrasza is drawn and D2 doesn't have follow-up aggression, this could just turn right back up. I mean, he doesn't know it, but D2 does not have the ability to Grom and do some fancy play right away and get lethal.
Yep, so he's gonna develop the Death Spite here, and
Definitely
set
the
himself up
right
for
play.
potential Gromash play.
Yeah, but he can't win against Gromash anyway, so there's no point playing around it. Oh, the Death's Bite coming in. Very, very important card here. Allows him to pump more damage as follow-up.
Shield Slam just developed Death Spite?
Yeah, and you go face, and then at least Dell right now has his execute. So the game is actually pretty far from over. It sounds a little ridiculous to say right now, but it is pretty far from over.
Definitely.
It's a bit silly to say that at this point, but
he's gonna
do you Alexstrasza yourself though as a follow-up? I believe you have to.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think you have to heal back up. You have to think that, even if he has Gromash, you're dead at that point. So you really.
And he lives actually. He lives through Gromash at this point because Gromash plus Death's Bite is only a total of 14 damage.
Now, do you shield block to try and get Shield Slam here?
You could just shield block in Sylvanas.
Yeah, but if you get Shield Slam for your Sylvanas, you could steal it. But
you can just drop Sylvanas alone. She's still but there's a Spellbreaker right there. Spellbreaker at the ready here for Dale. That's actually
that's gonna come down, and the Gromash Cool Taskmaster sitting in hand. 8 damage going to go to the face with the... No, in fact, he's going to use the damage from the Alexstrasza to kill the Sylvanas. Fiery Warax probably going to go to face and try and work down for lethal. He's got
the win conditions for D2 right now are, I wouldn't say few and far between, but they're going to be very, very reliant on him finding like a Ragnaros to get 8 damage out, and then finding Gromash as a combo piece. Because right now, all he's got are Shield Slams and,
He's going to take 8 damage to the face here, but also being able to proc the Acolyte of Pain.
Oh wow, that is a nice top deck. Another
Geddon
card,
coming
and
down.
yeah, this is a big threat. This is a really huge threat
And there's Dr.
to
Boom.
Dale.
I was just about to say Geddon is a card which has been cut in some lineups to make way for things like Dr. Boom, but obviously still a force in D2's deck. And are we going to see a YOLO rag here?
Actually, if YOLO Rag hits the face, Grommash Hellscream could threaten lethal as a follow-up.
Sure. I mean, there isn't another play other than
I mean,
YOLO
the
rag.
only other play is a bad. I think Grommash Hellscream to attack Geddon is an awful play. But then
Yeah,
again, Ragnaros feels I guess for him right now. I still think it is the proper play though. Yeah, and he does drop the Ragnaros, um, which I agree with personally. But there's an argument to be made for not playing around.
all right. Well, let's see where this Ragnaros goes. If it hits the Geddon, it does clear the Geddon.
Oh wow. And there's no way for him to kill Ragnaros effectively. He has to armor up, shield slam, execute. I mean, Dr. Boom is a good play because it puts 3 minions on board, and Ragnaros will have a tough time dealing with this because he'll have to actually, hit one of the targets.
Definitely, and that's and he does have the shield slams, shield maiden, shield block.
How
Shield Maiden.
YOLO-ish is Grom Cruel Task? It's 14 plus 8. That's not even lethal, unfortunately. It's
No.
excessively. It's just a bad play.
I guess you just shield maiden, develop your own armor here, and really put yourself at. Or
Grom
is he
not
going to
a
go
bad
for
play.
it?
You could attack a bomb with Grom and force the enemy to have execute, but I feel, and he hasn't played BGH either. But if he had it, he would have killed Rag, which indicates that your Grom might be safe. But then there's so many pieces of different removal that could work here in D2's favor. I mean, playing down the Shield Maiden is not bad. Do you Shield Maiden and kill one of the 1/1s? It's so awkward.
I don't know that you kill one of the 1/1s. I think you have to
Attack Boom. I mean, you're not playing around Grommash anymore, because if he had it, he would have killed you ages ago.
It's very difficult to see a way out of this. It's kind of awkward, but he is going to go for the Gromash Cruel Taskmaster.
And here it is. This is it. This is YOLO time.
Yep.
He is YOLOing so hard.
And
oh
hits
my
face.
goodness. He's gonna
Oh my
die then.
God.
Oh wow, Ragnaros, hello. Wait, does he have lethal? I mean, you can't eat like this is a night. Well,
So you can execute the Gromash.
I mean, I think you brawl. Do you just no? You can't brawl because if Ragnaros lives, you die. Okay,
If
what about
Ragnaros lives,
just
you're super dead.
man, you
Is he
you
gonna
have
do
to
it?
attack full face. He might win.
Yep.
He might actually just win off of this. Just straight up win off of the brawl. If it hits for 4 and 4.
All right. Well, this is going to be an absolutely crucial brawl here. What's going to survive? It's the Ragnaros.
Oh, the
And
game.
D2 is dead. But
This is so
no,
painful.
the bombs don't go.
He has to armor up and shield slam and execute, which
Wow.
means Dill is actually still in this game for the time being.
This
Oh
is
my
insane.
goodness.
Now Dill's going to play. Dill's going to play the Shield Maiden, and then the Ragnaros is going to come down from D2. You got to think.
But if Ragnaros doesn't hit the 5/5, then there's a lethal looming from a top deck. But you still have to do it. I mean, you can't just counter with your own Shield Maiden. You have to play a Rag and go just full threat here.
You got to take the 50% chance of taking the initiative.
Yes, exactly. Because losing the initiative here is going to be too big of a deal. Uh-oh. Is there another Deathbite left in the deck? If he finds Execute, I couldn't keep track of the cards. We missed the first few turns. Armor Smith, that's not even going to help, though. It's not going to help for now, but 5/5 to the face, that puts D2 on exactly 4 health. Which means another Ragnaros whiff. If Ragnaros hits face afterwards, this is going to be a really big problem for him. I don't think he Whirlwind. I guess he's afraid of weapons then.
Yeah, he wants another bit of armor. Fiery War Axe there.
Which was actually the play, it seems, because he would have died otherwise. Well, he can still die. No, he can't. Not this turn. This is going to be a Shield Maiden, Fiery Wind Axe turn.
Shield Maiden, armor up, gets himself back up.
I'm not sure Whirlwinding was necessary.
No, it did develop the armor, but
I mean, that it didn't really save you from anything you weren't I guess it saves you from a death bite. That's pretty much it. All right. Well, there's 10 armor now on D2.
Both of them down at 4 health, but big armor. And the Ragnaros kills the Shield Maiden
Yeah,
and
this
an
is going to be
Acolyte of
very
Pain.
tough to come back from. Is this
Well
This is
played.
not a guaranteed lethal yet, though.
No, no. Well played coming down from Dale, but it's going to need. In fact,
Well,
it's
there is a it's
exact.
a 50-50 if it hits,
Yeah,
but I mean,
exact
there's no
lethal
way.
with the 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to be?
Go all in. Let's do this. Face, sludge, Harrison, because who cares? So the whirlwind ultimately didn't change anything. In fact, it might have saved him, but
It came very close indeed.
that brawl was a huge play. Did he develop Grom Hellscream way too early?
It feels like he maybe did, but what else do you do in that situation other than, like we say with the the Ragnaros over the Shield Maiden from D2? You've got to try and take the advantage in this matchup. Otherwise, you end up in a stalemate where you both got lots of armor, and it becomes much more draw dependent.
Yeah, but like the turn where Dr. Broom was up,
Yeah,
I feel like. Oh well. Ultimately, I don't think it'll matter. Wow, there's no lethal coming up just yet. Wow. So Dill lives one more turn, and Bouncing Blade comes out.
okay.
This
Blades.
RNGesus.
So Bouncing
Yeah.
Blade's going to be played. Is it going to kill the Ragnaros?
It might. Oh
get to
wow.
see-
What? What?
No, it doesn't. It leaves the Ragnaros at
Son
1
of a-
health.
Oh goodness, Bouncing Blade! Don't play with my heart like this. But then the slime. No, it can't kill it because the sludge belcher will fall down. Oh my goodness. That
And
was
there's Gromash.
crazy. Oh, Bouncing Blade when you hold us.
Sludge Belcher coming down from D2. And do you just play the Harrison Jones or do you armor
All
up?
right. Honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter because if you kill the 3/5, I mean, it's all about the execute. I don't even know if he's running one more.
And
I don't think
Rag
it has
goes
one.
face.
All right. Well, that might actually be enough to live. If he doesn't get hit in the face with that rag, he might just be okay.
Double Sludge Belcher. So there's no real way through for threats on board here, but Ragnaros could still reach. And actually, that Fiery War Axe.
That makes
Pretty
this whole
crucial.
thing a 50-50. At the moment, this is a huge deal.
So he's going to be able to clear one of the sludges here
Mm-hmm.
and keep his own Sludge Belcher alive here. He's going to wipe the slime off the board as well, play the Harrison and armor up. And it's now a 50-50 for the win for D2.
That's a lot of 50-50s I think he's missed.
Is it going to be?
Yeah,
Yes,
and it's
it
a
is.
face.
D2
All right.
goes to 1-0 over Dale.
After all is said and done, Warrior wins against Warrior. That was actually a little weird because I feel like the match was really close up until the point where Dr. Boom was developed and Dell had to go all in with his Grommash Hellscream, or at least decided to. I don't know if that decided to go all in with it. And I'm still not sure if developing Grom as anything but a huge threat would have worked.
It was very, very difficult to make those decisions, as you say, and play, down the line. We don't actually know exactly what classes these two are playing because we just kind of jumped into this match very last minute to try and bring you some more Hearthstone action. But I believe this series is 1-0. This series is actually at 1-1. So Dale took the first game with that Warrior deck.
All right.
So we jumped into this series in progress. So we're now in the deciding game, and this is going to decide the final position. These two are playing for their future in the tournament because Acreo has won the tournament, it looks like. In fact, yeah, Acreo has won the tournament on the back of having won both its games 2. Sorry, winning the group rather than
Yeah, not the entire tournament, just the groups.
The little mini tournament in Group 9.
Yeah.
So Creo has won Group 9. So the winner of this next game is going to go on to the next round.
I'm actually just curious. Are we
Made
gonna see the
sense
next
when I
game?
worked through it.
Yeah, it made sense when you thought you'd finish the tournament, but it's not over yet. Not by a long shot, actually. There's a lot more games for you to cast tomorrow. Do not despair.
For sure.
There is I'm curious, are we gonna see the next game coming up here from Dills versus D2?
Yep. We're gonna
right,
go
cool.
into this deciding game, and it's actually, I believe, the last game that's being played in this whole series. This is going to decide the final lineups here. Yeah, so we're going to see this is the final game, and it's going to decide the final person who's going to go through, and it is Priest for Dale.
Against Warrior with a mind control, which is actually very important.
All
And
right.
wow, Vol'jin, hello.
Well, I'm going to go away, and I'm going to come back about turn 7. I guess we could just chill till then, Noxious.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's just do that, I guess. But I mean, the Warrior hasn't actually found any weapons, and those are interesting cards to find very early against Priest. Wow.
Turn 1 Northshire Cleric Power Word Shield. That's very, very difficult to deal with for any class.
This is so frustrating. You can't even develop Armor Smith. I need to stop saying develop.
I like it. I think it works.
Oh yeah, he can't even play anything because he's gonna give the Priest too many options too quickly. And now he can't even play it later because it's Cabal Shadow Priest. How do you win against things like these? Oh wow.
I don't understand what you have to do to win here. It's so difficult.
No, it's just a long. It's a turn. It's a matter of card to card. It's every card matters. And the value of the Acolyte of Pain getting denied by that Wild Pyromancer just sitting there and waiting. The light shall burn you. If he doesn't say it, I am never watching this tournament. I'm gonna go get some water. He didn't say it. I'm out. Be right back. Getting water.
Well, Nox is actually leaving in disgust from the casting table here, leaving me all alone. I guess we're jumping into these games without a break, so I don't blame him. But we're going to see probably an Armor Smith be developed here from D2. Start to develop his own armor, though he is going to be very aware of the threat of the wild.
All right, back.
That was quick.
Sorry, what? Yeah, that was quick. I have water right next to me. I sleep. I sleep where I drink water. So nothing happened. That's surprising. I didn't miss anything.
So I just love that. I love the idea that you decide where you sleep based on where you're drinking water rather than drinking water where you sleep.
Exactly. That's how I work. I do things differently. All right. So Sludge Belcher here does not feel too bad. But we know that Vol'jin is there. Do you even do that with Vol'jin? I mean, that's Control Warrior.
Matchup. Feels like a pretty good swap.
I mean, it's one of the weirdest matchups by a long shot, but all you have to do is throw your useless legendaries down and then wait until you can get value out of the important ones.
Absolutely. But he does go for the Harrison Jones instead. Interesting choosing to go with that over the Sludge Belcher.
I'm almost tempted to Vol'jin and trade my Wild Pyromancer away here.
Vol'jin to steal the 4 health of the Harrison.
I mean, it's not a lot of health, though, but... Wait.
My cat wants to cast with us, Noxious. I don't know
Whoa,
how you feel
whoa,
about
whoa,
that.
whoa, whoa. What happened? Circle of Healing to deal damage into trade?
Wow, that's
genius. I love that. Okay, I actually like that play more than maybe I should. That's really awesome, but I'm not sure if it's really effective though. I mean, it's pretty fancy, but it feels like a cute play.
It feels like it also feels like a big waste of Circle of Healing. I guess you're not looking for too much board wipe in this matchup, but
I mean, you're gonna need them later for, I guess, other value. I'm confused, I guess.
What are you?
So Sylvanas is not a play here. I don't think you ever are happy with that. You just drop like mid-range stuff and force him to expend some of his cards on them.
Is he gonna go for the Sludge Belcher here? Do you think?
That's what I would do, but I mean, he might just be unwilling to do so for whatever reason. I can't think of a reason not to do that. Now you're giving him Cabal Shadow Priest? Oh, not anymore. That's right. Cruel Task. Never mind. What am I talking about? Yeah, there's still a... Oh, wow. Hello, Whirlwind.
We didn't see that from D2 last turn, but the Holy Nova there.
Holy Nova, you have pretty much 0 times to use it against Control Warrior. It's one of those cards where, I mean, Dr. Boom is the only time where you're happy to have it, because it's the only time where you actually have any value out of it. Dr. Boom actually gives Holy Nova some merit. Usually back pre-GVG, playing Control Priest against Control Warrior meant your Holy Nova would just sit there unused for the entire game.
So, what about the Cabal Shadow Priest play here? You can see Taskmaster and trading.
I would just take that 2-2.
Yeah, taking the 2/2 and trading it into the Acolyte of Pain. Is that the play that we're looking at here? He does have 2 Cabal Shadow Priests in hand.
No, but he can't attack immediately with it, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's the problem.
It's not like Shadow Madness.
Exactly. How many cards does Warrior have? Yeah, exactly 8. All right.
Yeah,
I guess you
both
throw
of
the
them
second Northshire because you don't care. No, he doesn't.
here.
I don't think I do.
Shield Maiden comes in here. Just never go full Northshire.
All right. Now we're looking at a Dr. Boom turn. And there is no Holy Smite to go alongside that Vol'jin, so this might just be a Shadow or Death boring play. Or a counter boom. I don't dislike a counter boom play.
I guess, Dr. Boom versus Dr. Boom, it's always fun to see where the bombs land, but it can often be a very, very, very play to see where those end up. What's he going to go for here? He could, of course, steal one of the bombs with the Cabal Shadow Priest.
Do you really? I don't. That's the least value. I mean, I'd rather take a Slime or an Armor Smith. But then again, it is a bomb. I mean, Shadow Word. I mean, he's got answers. Let's just be honest here. He has the answers he needs. The question is, how does he want to go about it? I mean, do you just kill one bomb, then drop your own Dr. Boom and watch where the fireworks go?
He's going to death the 7/7.
Perfectly acceptable play.
Makes sense.
Did he actually just lose his
Oh my
North
god, yeah, the bomb kills the Northshire with full damage. That's very, very unlucky for Dale.
What is that, 12.5%?
Yeah, well, it's
bad.
25%. 25%, isn't it?
No, because it had to hit the target first. And
Oh,
then
true,
hit
yeah.
it for 4, so it's like 12.5. Oh my goodness.
That's very, very unlucky for Dale losing that Northshire Cleric that he would have been looking to heal up and heal the injured Blade Master and draw cards.
I don't think he wants to draw cards in this matchup anymore. I think he's got enough. It's just that it's a good body to kill the 1/1s. So it's really useful for that specific reason.
Execute the injured Blade Master, is that?
That's a pretty standard play, yes. It's fairly standard against Priest, because he's got, he still has his Shield Slams. He's got his Shield Maiden and Shield Block in case he needs that. He's got the Iron Beak Hello for some of the more important minions. Ah, this is looking really nice here. That's a really nice Cabal Shadow Priest steal.
Yep, so the Cabal Shadow Priest is going to come down on the Armor Smith.
Negate some of that Shield Slam value for later.
Yeah, definitely. And the Priest is going to start to build up armor of his own with the healing.
I would have probably played the Northshire Cleric here, since there is basically no reason for you to not develop it. You just throw it away on the Sludge Belcher. I don't know. You might need card draw later on. I mean, I feel like he's drawn a lot already at this point. In a control mirror match, drawing too many cards can be a detriment. So he's going to have to slow down on that. Alright, so you got a 4-5 and a 1-4. This is going to be a lot of armor for the Priest, but you still have to deal with them in some way. I don't feel... I mean, Shield Maiden... you could Shield Maiden, Shield Slam the 4-5, or rather Fire War Axe plus Bomb the 1-4, then Shield Maiden, Shield Slam the 4-5.
Do you develop the Shield Maiden rather than Shield Block to draw cards?
Either works. Either really works. And I feel like developing a minion is probably a little bit stronger.
Yeah. So we're just seeing what D2's thought process is going to be here. Does have the Owl available if he wanted to try and deny that armor, but he is going to go ahead and give it away. Shield Maiden comes down. As we predicted, Shield slams the 4-5, but can I say perhaps a slight misplay not attacking the Armor Smith before the Cabal Shadow Priest, giving one more armor to the Priest?
What ended up happening is that he negated the armor by having the bomb explode, but yes, it would have been a slightly better play by a very tiny margin.
And Shadow Madness, full Shadow Madness value. That is the most disgusting thing that can happen with a Shadow Madness. You lose your Belcher, and then you don't even get the slime back.
Yeah, he just keeps it. But that's what Priests do. They have, like... Shadow Madness doesn't even see play everywhere, but when it does see play and it works, that's actually pretty wonderful. I mean, you're super happy about it. Shield Block comes out after all is said and done, and that's going to way too much armor for the priest states, I can tell you that much.
Is he going to go ahead and trade the... Yep, trades the Shield Maiden with the injured Blade Master and develops another Shield Maiden. So 14 armor for D2 here.
I think this is an amazing Dr. Boom turn.
Yeah, it's probably as good a board as you're going to get for Dr. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can even develop, Dark Cultist just because. I mean, there's so many things that you can do.
He's thinking about maybe Vol'jin and Sludge Belcher.
Okay, yeah, Vol'jin, Sludge Belcher. I mean, a 5-5 and a 3-5, and the opponent almost systematically dies attacking the taunt. Yeah, it's not a bad play at all.
But he's going to go for the Dr. Boom here. And
that much value from Dr. Boom alone. And you've seen one Shield Slam, you've seen one Execute, so you're putting the opponent in a position where he has to have specific things. And this is never a position you want to be in.
And D2 has no way of dealing with the 7/7 body at this point. I guess he's got a shield block to dig for something, right?
I mean, you could Whirlwind and drop Sylvanas.
What now?
But
he's gonna go with a shield block. Death's Bite.
Wow. Does that actually help?
You can kill the Dark Cultist, but that's not what you want to... You don't want to do that.
I mean, Whirlwinding is not the worst. But you'd have... Okay, you know what? You use the 5-5 to attack into the 3-4. Then you drop Sylvanas and Whirlwind. Hope she dies and you steal Boom. No?
I think that might be a little bit more YOLO that D2 was aiming for.
Oh, the mind control for Sylvanas. Oh, goodness.
Sylvanas going to get a taste of her own medicine there, getting stolen, hopefully, off the mind control.
And you know what? There is no deal with this afterwards. Look at the amount of damage currently on the priest side. This is an inordinate amount of damage.
An inordinate amount of damage. You're absolutely right.
Is inordinate a word? Or did I just
oh,
make it up?
yeah. No. Totally
okay,
right.
I was just confused for a second. Well, I don't know that trading here... I don't know. I think I would have considered trading the Dark Cultist and 2 bombs away. Because right now you're vulnerable to executes. But then again, the warrior cannot play anything. All he has to do is wait. Or if he kills Sylvanas, he has to use it without having a minion on board. So Whirlwind, Execute plus Death Bite on Dr. Boom feels like something I would consider, but quite frankly, it doesn't feel too good either.
This is such a lot of damage. It's so difficult to deal with. He's got the Execute, he's got the Whirlwind, but... he can clear the Boom and clear the Boom bots, but he's going to take damage to face.
Yeah, well, taking the damage right now is the least of your worries. Looking at this board, you have to deal with it in some manner.
He gets 5 damage from the Boom bots. Execute on...
Sylvanas. On the 7-1, and then kill Sylvanas.
Yep, he's going to kill the Sylvanas and leave the Dark Cultist. Did have the owl that you could have used to deal with the Sylvanas there, but this is probably the optimal play.
I mean, owl and Sylvanas when you don't have a minion is not really very useful. Oh, Vol'jin and Holy Smite. Now that is what I call a power play.
It's not very useful at the moment, unfortunately, but D2 has set himself up with the Death Spite for a potential Grommash play, but he's a long way away from that and actually has very few playable cards in hand. And if he does decide to... He could well opt for the Grommash here to just because he has nothing else to play, and then the Vol'jin Holy Smite play on the Grommash is going to feel horrible.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I guess you could... this is such a terrible position for the warrior, because you've got a Death Bite. It can go in, and kill minions fairly relevantly, but how do you deal with the future threats that are going to come down? Oh, that's a way of doing it.
There's a Ragnaros. That does something. Not sure what it does, but it'll do something. So,
attack Sludge? Nah. I don't know that... I mean, you have to YOLO Rag it, but it's so awful. It's a nightmare. Do you even understand how YOLO... This is a rag that says, alright, deal with me. I know you can probably do it, but, just think about me later when you need a favor. It's the most useless Ragnaros ever.
The slime.
Oh, goodness. Alright. Vol'jin Holy Smite, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to witness it.
That's what's going to happen. That's, you thought Priest's plays with Okanai Soul Priest were disgusting before. Vol'jin Holy Smite is that the most disgusting in the game?
I think it's one of the best plays in the game, but it's overlooked by, a lot of people don't even want to play Vol'jin. It's funny enough that I've seen a lot of control priests that don't even bother with it.
But now
I
it's
mean,
a
I can
6-8.
understand, like, against an aggro metagame, it's the most useless card ever. It is arguably the most useless one.
There you go, Holy Smite, and a 6-8 on board now. He's going to Circle of Healing to draw 2 cards as well.
Should have done that at the beginning of the turn, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, and the Warrior now in a World of Hurt facing down a 6-8. This is like a bigger Boulder Fist Ogre.
He gets a sludge. He got a Sludge Belcher off that Thought Steal as well. That's going to be even more for him to deal with.
And now the Priest, all he has to do... He's got such a massive card lead.
Wow, the Gromash to kill the Vol'jin, that's just going to die to the Dark Cultist now, and that doesn't feel like a good play at all. But no other options available for D2, and this is really running away from him here. In this position as a Control Warrior, you don't want to be out of cards. Is there anything that can save D2 at this point?
A good Brawl on an overextended board maybe, but Ragnaros coming down here is going to guarantee 8 damage. So I'm not too sure personally. And there's still a Sylvanas in that hand. There's everything. Everything is in that hand.
There's a Cabal. There's a Sludge Belcher. There's an Auchenai. There's Sylvanas. Even if you were to get a super lucky Brawl,
I would just concede. But I'm just that guy.
Oh, D2. It's such a difficult position. Fiery War Axe, not what you need. There's nothing he can do here. This game is beyond him. And it's going to be Dale who's going to advance from Group 9, it seems.
Do you just play everything you've got in hand just because? Actually, does he have lethal with Fiery Wind Axe?
It's just what I was thinking. 9.
Yeah, Fiery War Axe, Auchenai, Ping, you win. 5. Yeah, he has it.
I think, is he not 1 off lethal?
No, he's got, I think, exact lethal. Auchenai, Ping, that brings him down to 13, plus Fiery... Oh, you're right, he's 1 off.
Yes, he's 1 off lethal with Auchenai, Hero Power, Fiery War Axe. And he could put D2, as you say, at 1 health.
That'll teach you not to get death bites. Such play, much wow.
I think that's what he's going to do. Auchenai...
He doesn't even have to, though. He can just sit there and wait forever.
He's going to go for Power Word Shields. Again, on that North Shard to draw more cards. Gets another Auchenai. He's going to Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, because why not? I mean, this game is already over. So it's kind of interesting to see that Control Priest... I mean... To me, before GVG, I thought that Control Warrior could not possibly lose against Control Priest. I thought it was really one-sided for the Warrior.
Absolutely.
But getting weapons early is a pretty important part of it. I mean, you saw the early play, right? Turn 1 Northshire into Coin. Power Shield really locked down the ability for D2 to play anything at the beginning of the game.
Definitely, and that is going to be it. 2-1 to Dale over D2, and Dale is going to be the final person making it through to day 3 in the round of 24, and what a stacked lineup that is looking like. But very unfortunate for D2, running out of cards at just the wrong point there, and the Priest completely taking over.
Yep, complete. That mind controls of Synth Volunus was a really crucial turn. So, yeah. Sure,
and that Vol'jin Holy Smite combo, like you said, is there going to be a better target ever than Ragnaros for that?
Deathwing? No, never.
It's very, very unlikely. Well, we're going to take a very quick break here and hopefully come back and give you the rundown of the matches that are going to be on stream tomorrow. Now we know what all the pairings are going to look like. So we can just take a very, very quick break, no more than a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back and let you know what we're going to be bringing you tomorrow. But we already told you we're going to be bringing you 6-0 versus Tither Celestial, and we've got some other amazing matchups for you coming in. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back to let you know the rundown of all the matches for tomorrow.
Stop building these walls of concrete. We've got the world at our feet. Don't let go, we're strong. Nothing will ever make us strong. 'Cause I know that we are forever and ever. When it's you, we will make of calm.